Well, hello everyone. It's Jeff from Mid-Atlantic Craps, and welcome back to This is Craps Chat, Season 2, Episode 16. And tonight we're going to be without Dylan. Dylan's actually gone back to work. He may join us before the night is over with, but right now Dylan isn't with us tonight. We have a person sitting in the chair that everybody's going to be familiar with. Let's just go over some common ground here, guys. We'd love to have you on the show. Right now we have 2 people in the Zoom screen. We'd like to see more people. You don't have to be a YouTube content provider. You can just be the average viewer, the average listener, somebody that wants to put in some input towards the show, towards the craps community. And we talk about all kinds of things. We would like to keep it at a level of craps, but sometimes we get a little off key. So tonight, guys, if you'd like to join the show, it's very simple. It is pinned in the chat screen, the Zoom link. Head over to the Zoom link. If you want to join the show, make sure I know who you are. If I don't know who you are, I will tell you so, and then you can give us an email to verify who you are, and we'll let you get in the show. It's very simple. It's pinned in the chat. It's in the description, and it's also over on www.crapschat.com. Without further ado, let's get over to the show. Well, here we are. It is, I hope I got audio on. Oh, here it is. Audio is on. Thank you. Boy, I tell you what, John, I have a time with this audio switching back and forth.
Man.
But look, that's not Dylan. That's John from Pro Craps Casino.
Wait.
Casino
Hold on.
Gaming
If I do
TV.
this, and am I dialing now? If I just lean back and go to sleep, is that?
you could be him. That's for sure. If you did that. So, we want. We want everybody to come in and have a good time tonight, whether you're watching, you want to come in and participate. I'm getting ready to let somebody into the room. I just hope they are who they say they are. We'll make sure that they are. We've got 3 people in the room now. We've also got to talk about cruising tonight with Craps for just a short time period, and we'll be bringing Brian from Holy Roller on the show. He's over in the Zoom side, and he'll be joining us here, just waiting for that third person to get ready so I can see their audio on the Zoom side. So, John, here it is. This is the second show this month. We may squeeze in a third one before we head into the Craps for the Cure coming up Veterans Day weekend. I know since you joined the show about a half hour ago, you've been steady typing and you're setting up screens for the show. Yeah. Any late updates on the Craps for the Cure you can tell us about?
Not that I can share. Brian will talk a little bit about his donation tonight. I did talk to Heavy. Heavy's going to throw in a full scholarship to one of his classes, which is great. I talked to a couple of people today who I think might be going, possibly might be going. No guarantees. I don't want to announce anything until I hear from them for sure. But there's a couple of people that I think we'd all want to hang out with that I think may actually be coming. So that's pretty cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
And more updates coming with that. There's so much going on. I spent the whole weekend just reaching out to people and trying to get schedules figured out and all that stuff. So
tickets. Tell us how to get tickets.
You go to crapsforthecure.com. I'll put it in chat. I think I can do that, right? Can I do that? Craps.
Yeah, you should be able to do it. Yeah.
I don't know if I have permissions to or not, but yeah, crapsforthecure.com. If you're going to go and you'll see right on top, just a tickets link. Click the tickets link, buy a ticket for Saturday and for Sunday, 2 separate days, because you may not go to both. I went and we shopped for some swag. So we got what do you see the chips, Jeff? The chips are fantastic. Spinetti's Gaming in Vegas helped me design the chips. We have the Veterans Moving Forward logo on one side and our Craps for the Cure logo on the back side. It looks like a challenge coin. They're awesome. We've got lammers printed out that are special lammers for the event. And we got, what else we have? A coffee mug and I think a fanny pack or something else we got. So each day there's different stuff that you'll get when you come into the place. But yeah, register at crapsforthecure.com. Let us know how many are coming. David needs to get a head count just so that we know, what you can expect building wise.
Yep. Well, I'm looking forward. As you know, this will be the first time I've been able to make it out of the 3 years, and looking forward to coming to Vegas. It's going to be a short trip for me. A turnaround Thursday and Monday. I think both Chris from Dice Dejan and I come in and go out the same day. So we will be a quick trip. Are you staying the rest of the week? I know about a month or so ago you said you may stay for the F1.
I'm not going to stay for F1. My boss won't allow it, number one, and my comp won't extend that long, number two. So I could have probably pulled it off, but yeah, staying after Tuesday would have been way too expensive. And yeah, next year I'll do it. Next year I'll plan way ahead, and I'll get something cheaper ahead of time. But yeah, couldn't handle it.
I was looking for that chat to come in for where you typed it in. I see it on one
Yeah,
side.
it may have
but
hidden
not
it,
the other.
Jeff, because I'm logged in as ProCraps in the chat, so it may not let me put a link in. So
I'll do it that way.
There it is.
Yeah. I'll do it that way, but I will. It's not on the one that I can drop in and pin, so we can do it that way. It'll stay up there for about 20 seconds. But it looks like we've got Brian from Holy Roller, we've got Dice Doctor Dan, we've got Leon from Great Craps, Joe from Craps Master Journey, and I'm kind of hoping it's going to be Dusted One, but it's not showed me the video yet, and I'm kind of really leery about letting this on. But why don't we go ahead and bring over the Craps the Craps crowd in the Zoom side. And if you'd like to join us, guys, just come on over and join the show. I am going to resize that. I'm just hoping that one picture is not going to wind up to come and bite us in the butt, because I'm not ready to protect myself just yet. But let's go ahead and
bites you in the butt.
Yeah,
right,
literally. Let's go ahead and make them a little bigger, because when we were here, it was just Leon, and he didn't want to be in a screen all by himself. So let's see, their audio is on. Gentlemen in the Zoom, how are you doing, my friends? Let's go first of all. Leon was here first, so I'll go to him. Leon, Great Craps, how you doing?
Great. Got my brown water all made. We're ready to go.
All right. Well, guys, let's go up to the top of you. That's Brian from Holy Roller. We're going to be talking about craps and cruising and how to win a free cruise in just a little bit. Brian, how are you doing?
Doing well. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep, we can hear you.
All right.
A possible newcomer to the show, right beneath Brian, is Dice Dr. Dan. I don't know that he's not been on the show before, but I'm old and I don't have a memory. But I know his sidekick to the right of him, or left, depending on how I'm looking at it. Joe's been on the show before. Dan, how are you doing this evening? Your audio is on, Dan. Just say something. All right, we'll go over to Joe. Be watching in the Zoom, not on YouTube, Dan. Joe, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
Doing great. Hey, guys, I got a picture behind me of the buck that's walking around the woods I'm going to be getting hopefully in the next couple weeks. And if I don't get it, my son's going to get it. And if my son gets it, I'll be mad. If I get it, he'll be mad. So it's kind of a little duel going on right now. But I'll change my picture. I just wanted to show you guys what's walking around the woods where I go hunting.
Those trail cams or something, aren't they?
Aren't they? That's a huge. It's 11 or 12 part. We can't figure out what it is.
All right. So, Dan, you did something there, and my screen kind of switched on me. But, Dan, I heard you say something, so go ahead and say a few words to us. Your audio is on, Dan. All right.
I don't think he
We're going to switch.
Yeah.
We're going to switch over and go to Dustin. Dustin, welcome to the show tonight again. This might be your second night in a row, or at least 2 times in the past month you've been on. How are you doing?
Super. Just got back from vacation a little bit ago.
Nice.
All over the place. Hey,
right.
Jen, thanks for that heads up. And if you're watching the show in Minnesota, I went to that Indian casino and they had a nice video craps thing.
Oh, okay. All right. Just letting Alfredo in now. I'm pretty sure that's Alfredo, so we'll be all right with that one. So anyway, guys, look, if you have a question, anybody, for the panel, for us, for maybe somebody that's made a comment in the chat, put it at a capital Q with your question, semicolon behind it. It'll highlight it on my software. I'll be able to pin it, and we'll go back and ask the questions. We need some questions for tonight. And if you have a comment or something you'd like to address to somebody on the panel, you'd like to join the show, it's in the Zoom. But like say you want to say something to Brian Holy Roller, just put put Brian in capital letters, and I'll know that you have a question for him. Alfredo, welcome to the show, my friend.
How's it going?
All right, how are you?
Been an interesting week. It looks like a lot of people are fatigued from playing a lot of craps across the board. Some of the later shows haven't seen quite as many people jump on, but Crapsy is still always going. So anyone that does a Crapsy, it seems like people jump on that. But some of the other shows seen lighter numbers.
Right.
Yeah,
Very true.
Yeah, it's. Crapsy's always going, as you said. There's so many people that are doing it. Beside the 7 or 8 that's permissible to set up in the live tabs, more will be added soon. But there's always a show out there, typically sometime, whether it's George from Cyprus going live or somebody else at some other time. But now let's try to go back to Dan one more time. Dan, your audio is off, I believe, at this particular moment. Say something. Just say something, Dan. Okay. Nope. We're going to let him come back. All right. So
I think Dan can't hear you. So.
Yeah. Well, we can't hear the rest of them. So look, we've got Brian from Holy Roller. I think he said he was coming from us from Colorado. And as soon as Mark gets in, we'll go back and talk. We'll say something to Ryan coming in the door here. Let me go here and do this. Brian, you asked if you could come on the show. You've got a special contest going on your channel. For those of you that aren't familiar, that logo that's to Brian's right ear, my left screen, that Holy Roller, you should understand that. Brian's been out for, I don't know, not quite maybe a year now, doing really well. Subscriberships up there, doing really good. And he cruises more than anybody I know. And I'm a cruiser. I just haven't been lately. But Brian, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. I watch often. Whenever I'm in town, I try to watch. And I said this time, you know what? You always say, just jump on the Zoom. And I said, you know what? I'm going to jump on the Zoom this time since I'm in town.
All right.
Wi-Fi on the ship is not necessarily something that I'm going to try to jump on a Zoom when I'm on the ship. The fastest internet at the sea is like dial-up. It seems like sometimes.
Yeah, it is not good. Although I have streamed from the deck before, but sometimes you just never know. It depends on the. I think they all use about the same carrier on the ships, but it depends on the service you get, and I don't know. It is very spotty.
Like satellite based? Is that what it is? Is it because it's satellite based? Because there's obviously no cell towers or landlines out there. Is that right?
Yeah, it is satellite based.
There are some ships that are transferring over to Starlink, which those ones have some good reception. But the more people get on it, the slower it is, just like any other bandwidth stuff. I don't understand the whole thing. I just know whether I can stream or not, and it's choppy. Not the seas, but the internet's choppy.
Yep. So look, you got a contest going on your channel. Tell us about what you're doing and how people can find out about it and how they can enter it, and what are they going to actually win?
Well, we wanted to do something special for the Craps for the Cure, raising money for veterans. Once I saw the information that John put out, I mean, I watched some of the videos that they have on their website for the veterans moving forward, and it broke my heart. And I'm like, you know what? Wow, this is amazing to be able to have these service animals help veterans. And last year we put up a cruise. And it was like an auction, and I said, we talked with John, and there was this idea of what if we just made it raffle style, where somebody could get this 4-night cruise. It's gonna be a 4-night. It's a balcony room. We chose the date just so that we had it locked in. So it's on January 22nd through the 25th. It's out of Miami, Florida. It's going to the Bahamas, perfect day in Coco Cay. I know there's a lot of information, but perfect day in Coco Cay and Nassau, Bahamas. And get this, we're going to raise money for veterans, and $100 is going to get somebody that it's over a $1,500 value. I have a video. If you go over to holyroller.com, you'll see the video there that explains everything that I'm talking about now. But the thing that I'm really excited about is it's actually on Royal Caribbean's Freedom of the Seas. And I thought, how fitting is that we're going to raise money for veterans and support for veterans and awareness. And we're going to be on the Freedom of the Seas, raising money for people that actually fought for our freedom. So I'm really excited about that.
All right. Well,
Really
I'm looking forward. So it's a $100 chance to win the cruise, and it goes towards veterans.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. All right.
Yeah, that was cool. So Brian and I talked on the phone, Jeff. You should know this. We had a nice chat, and when he had this idea, I'm like, you know what? Son of a gun, we're doing that for everything because, like last year, what happened with the auctions was great. We raised a ton of money with the auctions, but some of these items got bid pretty high, and folks had their bid in, and the last minute got outbid, and actually didn't make any. weren't able to make a real donation, And some folks were like, well, screw it. I can't put $500 up. So, they would make us something smaller or whatever else. This year, everything in the auction is going to be raffled. We're just going to cap it. We're going to say we're going to do $125 tickets for, wager me this is felt. And that's it. That's it. $25, you can get the felt if your name gets picked.
Hey, John, there's actually, John, what you do is you sell a lot of tickets, and then you give everybody puts their tickets on what they really want. So you could buy 100 tickets and put it on your
100%.
commemorative chick. They decide where they want the money to go. If they really want something, they just not a grab bag type of thing either.
Yeah,
you know what
the
I'm
only
saying?
problem with that's the way to run a in-person raffle. The problem is the way the auction software works. You can only put money on certain things. The software we use doesn't support it to do it. That's a great way to do it though. So what I'm going to do is take advantage of, the auction software says you have X number of these things available, and the buy now price is whatever. So I can pretend that I've got 20 things, and the buy now price is $25. And that caps the auction.
Yeah, but what if somebody hits it big in town and wants to come and be splashy at your fucking fundraiser and fucking buy? Here, buddy, go and spend $100 on my tickets and do whatever you want with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, it's your software, so you can't make it fit.
Yeah.
So
won't turn
Someone
anybody's money
already
down.
beat you to the 2 FUs there.
Yeah. It wasn't
wasn't long for this show.
Right?
Wasn't long for this
I
show.
totally believe though that the raffle is the way to do it though. I think it lets us get in a little cheaper as people, and I think it lets us also budget on the items too. We know that the items are going to bring in X amount of dollars. We can kind of plan for it, which is cool. And that's how we're going to target that. I think it was a great idea. Brian and I talked before half an hour, oh my God, this is the way to do it. The epiphany happened and there it is. So, and it's cool. We got
crazy
some
if you had some online bidding too.
Yeah. Oh, well, we did the online bidding last year. We'll do online donations live in chat like we did last year, plus on the website. There's going to be multiple ways to do it this year. So I think we can hit our $50,000 goal. I think it's going to be achievable this year, which is a big goal. It's going to be 3 times last year's money. But I think we can do it.
Exciting.
Yeah.
And we have at theholyroller.com, we have where you can actually start purchasing some raffle tickets there. It's also going to go up on Craps for the Cure at the raffle site there as soon as that pops up for that auction. So I started promoting it just a few days ago, giving 1 month from now leading up to Veterans Day. We're just going to try to raise as much as we possibly can. These dogs, $50,000 it takes to train one of these dogs. So I'm really excited to hit that mark. Not just with the cruise, but with all the awesome stuff that people are bidding on, because I know I'm going to be bringing some money to bid on some stuff. I'm going on this cruise, so I don't need to bid on this one, but I'm going to bid on everything else.
All right.
Cool.
Well, John, from a standpoint of everything coming together now, it's right around the corner. Here we are, year 3.
Yeah.
Right around the corner. We're a lot of people are going to be there. As far as the capacity at Casino Quest, I know you got a certain amount of tickets, but the important thing is the tickets are sold for either day. But we hope people come both days, and all the money is benefiting as Brian's kind of like alluded to, it's for veterans, but we're doing it for to raise money so you can get a comfort dog to a veteran that's in need. And I think that's
this is very tactical. This is not like throwing $16,000 at the American Cancer Society or some big organization. Like I even thought of doing like the American Heart Association because I've had heart problems my whole life. But this is going right to this group that trains the dog. It's literally gonna, like, even if we don't raise the whole 50, whatever we raise, we'll at the very least purchase a dog to get trained. You know what I mean? The other, whatever it's going to be, 35,000, whatever it takes to do the food and the training and the doctoring and all that stuff for the dogs. We can see it front to end, but it's going to go right into somebody's hands. Like at some point, she said to me, at some point when that dog gets delivered, it's going to have like your name tag. Like it'll be like, it's your dog. Like it's you guys paid for the dog. It's your dog, and it's going to go to a vet, and it's going to be like, she might even let us name it, which is kind of cool. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's just going to go into a big kitty. It's going to go like, not a kitty cat, but a kitty. It's going to go right to somebody's house. I think it's the coolest thing ever. Like if we're going to put a dog in somebody's house, like I still can't get my head wrapped around how cool that is. Like it's just, yeah.
We'll come back towards the end of the show and recap how close we are, but I want Brian just to tell a little bit more about that, about what somebody's going to bid $100 for. We know the cruise line. Let's say somebody's never cruised before, Brian. Like you and I have cruised many times. You've probably cruised. I've cruised a lot, but you've cruised 100 times more than I have. But, from a standpoint of playing craps on a cruise, that's your tag there, playing craps on a cruise to win a free cruise. But when you go, a lot of us, like myself, I don't pay normal fees to get on the cruise line because I'm a VIP with 2 different cruise lines. But it's not just playing craps. I mean, you're going to take a significant other. I'm sure it's a room for 2, based on double occupancy. And, I mean, the shows, the food, I don't think it probably includes the alcohol package, but I mean it's a balcony room, and if you've never been on a cruise, a balcony is where you want to be the first time. After you cruise about 10 times, take that inside cabin, save some money. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, we had a balcony choice and an ocean view, which is pretty much just a window, and I couldn't get myself to take the balcony for myself and then auction off the window. So I'm letting the whoever gets this to be in the balcony room, and so it's amazing. A lot of people they don't realize that if you take a land vacation, I call land cruising. You're gonna have to buy your own food, your own fuel. You're going to have to buy, and if you're going to go to a show, you're going to have to pay for that. And when you get on the cruise, everything is included except for, like you said, the alcohol package. But, I mean, they have lemonade, tea, coffee, some fruit punch, of course, water. Sometimes people think there's nothing, like, I'm not going to be able to drink anything. But there'll be plenty of stuff to drink if you're not. Unless you're doing the package, unless you want to do the alcohol package or whatever. But one of the things I want to do is I want to show whoever comes, I'm going to give them a coaching session, and just walk them through, okay, this is how you get a free cruise. So hopefully when they go on this cruise, one of my goals is going to be that they leave the cruise with a free cruise offer. Now, this is a 4-night cruise. And so with Royal Caribbean, they make it pretty simple when it comes to how many points that you need. It's not some pie in the sky and you have to hope, spend as much money as you can and hope that you get a free cruise. It's very, I learned this by doing it over and over and over. And I kind of figured out the formula on how to get the points the quickest, even at craps. Most people would say, oh, crap, go to the slot machines. That's where I get all my points. And I don't be rude to them, but I would say, yeah, that's where they put all their money too. It's $5 for 1 point in slots. And if you're getting 800 points on a 4-night cruise, you need 800 points for a free cruise. So you could do the math. I mean, regardless of whether they started with $100 or 200 or 1,000, whatever they're putting through that machine, it's $1 or 1 point for every $5. Not too long ago, there was somebody that said, I got 15. I think they said they had 10 or 15,000 points, and they only played slots. And that's a lot of money. That's over $100,000 that they put through the machine. And I asked them, how much did you start with? And they were like, oh, a couple thousand. Yeah, a couple thousand. You never know. I've gotten a free cruise by playing craps with just $500, like total for the whole trip. And it's all about staying long. So a lot of people, when they see my channel, they're like, man, your strategy is hedging and you're not going to win anything. And but that's the point is I want time at the table. So I'll lose slow, but I'll also win slow. But I just grind out like 4 hours for the first 2 or 3 nights, and I got a free cruise. And then I switch strategies and try to make some money.
Well, you mentioned about getting a cruise, and you're gonna coach them through that. That was one of my questions when you said that you had the 2 rooms, that I knew that you were going to be on the cruise with them. I'm not a big drinker. However, typically by day 2, you should qualify in the casino for the free drinks, whether you're drinking or not. That's only in the casino. Does Royal Caribbean have that package as well? Like, you get to a certain point and then they give you the drinks while you're gambling, but eventually, you don't have to pay for them. I know Carnival does. I didn't know if Royal Caribbean does.
Yeah, the way it works with Royal Caribbean is they have a status that's called choice when you first begin. And then the second level is called prime. And once you get to 2,500 points, you get free drinks for the year that you earned it, plus the following year, your prime, and you get free drinks in the casino. So the drink package costs about $100 a day. So on a 7-night cruise, I mean, that's $700 for every cruise that you go on that you'll be saving in the future.
Per person. It's per person.
Only in the casino, though, right, Brian?
Yeah, only in the casino, but the casino's open a lot. And what I do is I'll just go to the bar before the casino closes, grab a couple drinks, and then take it back to my room and put it in my refrigerator. So not necessarily mixed drinks, but just like cans and different things. So
yeah, that's what we would do. We would actually. I don't drink, but I would order a bottle of water and give me, I'm not gonna say a brand name, but bring me this beer, and I would keep the beer there, and then I would take a break from the craps table and I'd go up, stick it in the refrigerator. You do that 4 or 5 times on a 4-day cruise. You'd probably have a couple in the refrigerator, but on a 7 or 10-day cruise, typically we're leaving beer in the refrigerator. We've gotten so many beers that we didn't drink, and I'm not a big drinker, so maybe somebody that drank a lot, that wouldn't happen. But Brian, we appreciate you putting this together, and we are going to see you Veterans Day weekend at Casino Quest, correct?
yes, I got my $50 ticket for both days, so $100, and I'm there, and I'm looking forward to. I'm probably going to bring a couple people. I know my wife; she's thinking about coming. My son wants to come, but I wanted to make sure to get my tickets early, just so everything's like, if there is a cap or if something happens, at least I'm in. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, for everybody who's listening, prepare questions, because my plan is to have Brian at least for a full session with us. Like, one full session is going to be cruise comps, right? We're going to have a full session on regular comps, but I want Brian to kind of lead us through a class of comps on cruises and the strategies and how they work and all that stuff. So if you got questions about how it works, why it works, like, if you don't win the cruise, it'll be like a crash course, so to speak, at Craps for the Cure. So send questions to Discord ahead of time. I won't give Brian your questions. We'll surprise him when we're there. But let's get him in there. So we have plenty of content to bring from Brian when we're there at the event. So,
all right. Well, Brian, I hope you hang in with us for a little while on the show here. Maybe somebody might ask a question in the chat. Maybe somebody you might want to chime in. Anybody that has a question, it doesn't matter whether it's if it's a crazy question or a question that's been asked before. Please put a capital Q before it. Put it in the chat with a capital Q and a semicolon, and I'll be able to pick that question up. You have a comment for anybody that's with the panel, or for John or myself, please just put our name at PC, at Mac, or whatever, and we'll be able to do that. We do have a couple questions lined up. I do see that Ryan from Mark the Point has joined us. I haven't been able to say hello to him. So, Ryan, unmute yourself and say hello.
Ryan. Hey, Ryan.
Glad you could join us tonight. Dan, did you get your audio problem fixed yet?
Let me try it, see if it works.
Oh,
Yes.
look, it's Dice Dr. Dan. Hey, welcome to the show. Fifth try.
Yes, in the house.
Took a little bit. This tech stuff gets me.
But you're the dice doctor, so you take the dice out of it. It's doctor, so you should be able to do something IT, because every time you go into anything medical these days, it's all computer or electronic driven. Even the statements you get days afterwards. But welcome to everybody that's here. I do have a couple questions lined up, guys. Randy and Michael Blocker have asked a couple questions, but we need some more questions to be put in there. So before we go to this first question, I appreciate everybody coming on the show tonight. We will, there's a question right there I'm going to go to first as soon as it shows up here. Justice Jen has asked Brian, let me put that up there. We'll cover that while Brian is with us. Brian, will you be covering the taxes for the winners?
Covering what to do with the taxes or actual taxes is the question.
No, if you go play slots and get a hand pay, that's on you. I'm staying away from the slots.
Yeah, I think she's more referring to like the port fees and the taxes to get on the ship. It's more about the fees.
Oh yeah. So let's talk about that's okay. Let's talk about that. So really simple. All you have to do, it's out of Miami, so Port Miami. All you have to do is get to the port and to and from the port. Once you get on the ship, like I said, and like Jeff talked about, if you want the alcohol package, get the alcohol package. But everything and the internet, if you're going to purchase the internet. But if you get there, get on. We're paying the taxes, port fees, and I'm wanting to do something special. I'm wanting to do, and I keep saying I'm not going to say this, but I keep saying it. I want to make sure to even have a bankroll for whoever gets this, and so I'm trying to put together where on my next cruise, my goal is to come back with a $500 bankroll that will be for the person, and so because a lot of times you get on the cruise, you spend everything to get there. And if you don't have a bankroll to actually use while you're on the cruise, then you can't get another one. So I think that's the key. And so I want to make sure to, maybe bring it up. It's $1,500 value, just the cruise. And if I could bring it up to $2,000 value because it includes a $500 onboard credit or, bankroll, I think that would be really cool for someone. And maybe they would want to use some of it for internet or some of it for the drink package, which you couldn't afford the drink package for $500. That would be the whole 500.
I think what you did is you answered the question. For those people that don't know you cruise, you look at a cruise package and you say, oh, look, I get on the cruise for $700 a person. By the time you add the two together, there's port fees and there's taxes. And each port that you go to charges a cruise ship a certain amount of money per passenger, whether they get off the cruise ship or they don't get off the cruise ship. So what Brian's saying is that the raffle is going to include those port fees, taxes, and your cabin, and everything that goes along with it, with the exception of the alcohol. And he's going to try to work on a bankroll on his next cruise, which I think is great. Because when I do my spring, my late fall, early spring trip to AC, we send somebody there and we give them a couple $100 to play with to get to play with us. But it's always nice to have a bankroll. Brian, looking forward to seeing you. I haven't met you out there yet, so we'll do that. We need to move on with the show. If you can stick around for some questions, that would be great.
Yeah, for sure. I plan on being here. I plan on being here for a while. I've seen the show.
Okay. All right. Let's go over here. We'll take the first question that came in first 20 minutes ago. And this has been talked about, but we've got a few new people here on the show. And I'm going to go ahead and put the question up here. This comes from Michael. Michael says, working on the come out, what are people's opinions? And we could probably start a war, verbal war back and forth, because some people do and some people don't. I see Alfredo shaking his head no. If I'm throwing, don't work the come out. That's all I'm going to tell you. But I do work the come out occasionally. I get this little spurt in my butt. I place an $18 6 and 8 out there, and I tell the dealer I'm going to work it. Yeah, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So, John, you've talked on your show, Coffee and Craps, and we've talked here about working the come out. We'll go to you first. What opinion do you have on working the come out?
What I always say about it is if you're going to work it once. Don't work it every single time. Like, it's just another role, which is true. But the difference of the come out roll is that 7 can come 5, 6, 7 times in a row, where you can't get 5 7s in a row when you're playing the box when the puck's on, right? So you're going to work it. That's cool. But if you get pegged on the first one, don't keep coming back to the well, because that's when you're going to burn it. So that's the only caveat I got. If you run the math on it, you get destroyed working the come out. Just absolutely destroyed working the come out all the time. But once, treat it like a regular roll one time, and it's no different than any other strategy.
All right. I saw Alfredo was shaking his head. I think he and I probably think the same way. Alfredo, you working to come out. What's your opinion? Your audio. There you go.
Yeah, I would say obviously not to work to come out. I mean, today I had 75 rolls on the crap CD and had 2 big rolls. But if you were working the come out roll, I had 7 come out 7s. They came at the right time, right? And so they were all pretty much in between hitting a point. And if you were working the come out, you would have got obliterated. There's no way making up 7 come out 7s and 7s.
What was that, John?
So how does Tony Leo feel about working the come out roll on Alfredo shot?
Oh my gosh!
Don't ever erase that, John. You got bribery money.
Take a marker one more time. One more time. You can't do it again. There's no way you can do it again, Alfredo. One more time. $10,000 in the field.
Man, wasn't it 50 grand?
All right, let's go to Joe. Craps Master Journey. Joe, your opinion on working the come out?
Honestly, I mean, I've been to a lot of different casinos, and it seems like some casinos, everybody's shooting for the 7 on the come out. Other casinos, not so much. They go for the box numbers and that. So I don't really work the come out. But I look at the come out as a different thing. You know, whether you play a pass line or whether you don't play a pass line, or whether you do a don't pass or don't do a don't pass. But you know, if I'm on the shooter side of the table, I'll play a pass line to cover that ATS bet, and I'll also play a crap check. If I'm on the side of the table where the shooter's shooting to, I'll play an Indy 7 and a crap check and cover my ATS valley. So I use that pass line as a hedge for the ATS. So that's where I stand on the working to come out. So,
all right, let's go
Joe,
over.
We got to dive into that. Hold on a second.
Yeah,
I have to know.
No, I agree with him.
It's time to throw it out
I
now.
agree with him. A pass line is an active bet.
I want to know why
pass
each side
line is
matters to
a
you.
working
That's
bet.
curious to me. What is the difference of this side versus that side? Why make that decision? I'm curious.
The reason I do that is because, and I notice this like when we do when we meet up like in Chicago all the time. When you have some decent shooters, you don't want to litter that landing zone. And the more chips you have in the landing zone, the more area there is for those dice to roll off of the chips and get more random than what they supposedly are.
Space.
I'm just trying to clear the space.
Okay.
I would prefer to play a pass line as long as I'm not impeding the shooter by any way or manner. You know, that's just kind of the way that I play, especially when I'm around, you know, a lot of people that actually know how to throw the dice. When I'm at my local, they have stacks 6 inches tall. I mean, everywhere. It doesn't matter. I mean, you have to kind of throw around those damn things. And the pass line's only about 4 to 5 inches from the side wall. So, I mean, you're going to hit a chip somewhere when you're throwing it at a local casino. And that, so.
Yep.
All right, so I got Dustin highlighted there. Working to come out, Dustin. What's your opinion?
Well, I kind of agree with Joe that if you work the line, that's an active working bet on the come out. Then, so you guys are kind of hung up on the pass line, you know.
Right.
Or I mean, place bets, you know. So if you think about it, you on the come out. If you're playing the line, that you're that's a working bet. So, and you're actually wagering an outcome of the dice.
All right,
That's the bet, you know.
That's a good point. Leon, any opinion on that? I know that you typically, as you said in previous shows, you're basically a lower buy-in type player. What do you say?
It all depends on the strategy I'm playing at the time. Sometimes I might turn them on for the come out or leave them on for the come out, but I generally will follow the puck most of the time. Then tournament play, whole nother story. Tournament play is a whole nother deal. But I think pretty much everybody plays differently when we play in tournament play. So, but real money on the line, most of the time I'll just follow the puck.
All right. Let's see. Dan and then Ryan, and then we'll move on to the next question. Unless I see a comment come up here. I can't believe what Jen just said. I don't even put that one in the chat. But anyway, Dan, working to come out. I know I've played with you a couple times. I don't think you typically do that.
Basically, I have turned into a hybrid player. So the only
my.
thing that I'm willing to play is a quick don't pass. I don't add my place bets at that point.
All right. Okay. So Ryan, you're last up on this question, my friend. What do you say?
Yeah, I think there's definitely opportunities where you can play it. If I've seen how they're throwing, and I feel like, and I hate to say controlled shooter because sometimes I can be a little vague, but I feel like if they're throwing their dice as if they would if they're just trying to hit a point or anything else, and sometimes I'll do it. Like if I'm playing my 220 3 hits and down, I want to try to hit that first hit with my 220 exposed. But I would say 90% of the time I'm not planning to come out. Only if I'm strategically playing a certain system. I've watched that person roll before. I know they're not just flinging for 7 or flinging for anything else or just randomly shooting. Again, that's kind of coming from a controlled dice mentality of, hey, they're not just knocking from wall to wall trying to just get a point set or try to hit 7. So it depends. It kind of depends on what system I'm going to play. Again, 90% of them I'm saying no. Now maybe if I'm just going to try to hit 2 hits or 3 hits and pull my bets down, then there's a possibility I might.
All right. Well, thanks for that. So I hope, Michael, we answered your question. I didn't see too many comments in the chat about working to come out.
There is a time that I work to come out,
sorry.
Jeff.
Did I miss
there
you
is
when
a
I
moment.
did I not ask you that, Brian? I'm sorry. I apologize.
No. Well, I do if you ever seen this, I mean, I know all of us have seen it, but if I see it over and over, somebody has a long roll, they have like a point of 5 and they never hit that 5. And then the next come out is a 5, the next point is a 5. I'll bet $5 on it. And the way I do that is I put $5 on any 7, $15 on the 5, and I have it working. So, or $20 on the 5, and if the 7 comes, it pays for the working bet. But if my, thoughts are right and it's going to come out on the 5, then I win some money. And so that's the only time how I would play the come out. But it's different, but that's how I do it.
All right. Any other comments, John? Do you have any follow up to anything that anybody
That
said?
reminds me of how Ed Robinson does it, right? So he's worked his place bets up to where he's got them pressed up super high, $400 on the 5 or something like that. He's like, I don't want to work the $400 on the come out, but a little bit of hopping on that 5, maybe with a small bit of protection, is a great way to capitalize on somebody getting into a pocket and grabbing that 5 for him again. So same thought process. That's pretty cool. Don't forget that's an option for you.
Yep. All right. So let's go over here and take the next question. Comes from well, real quick, Brian, we're going to go back to you. I didn't read Randy's question. I thought it said something else. This is which cruises have craps tables, and everyone I've been on has had at least one craps table. Is that your experience, Brian?
Yeah. Now, I think it's important to know I just specialize in Royal Caribbean. I mean, I've been on Princess, but mainly everything that I'm doing with the channels with Royal Caribbean, I don't get paid or sponsored by Royal Caribbean. I just like their system. I understand their system. I can get free cruises, and every ship has at least one craps table. And on the bigger ships, which are the Oasis class ships, there's 2 craps tables. So if you're being a big group, go to the Oasis class ship. So you'll have choices of 2 tables.
All right. Well, this next question, I don't know if Dustin has seen the chat or not, but it actually comes from John, who's on the screen here. Wants to know, Dustin, can you explain what the hell the 7's up out means? I guess when we're playing in crap season, you're playing alone.
When your hand ends, that's where I'm at in my profit above my buy.
Right. But I guess
I've been trying to include. I don't know if you guys have noticed. Also, I've been also included when I hit a front line, and if you guys have noticed, I've also been down early in the thing. I mean, I don't go. It's not like I don't miss bets every time, but when opportunity comes in my strategy, misses happen, and then I can jump into the ABS system. Okay, but in most cases, my bet is hit almost every time. After I have to miss a bet to jump on my ladder, but it's not a ladder. It's just the sequence in the bets.
All right. So you mentioned the ABS system. Do you want to go ahead and talk about that now while you're on the screen?
I don't know. Nobody asked any other questions, but John, he just want to know what sevens outs it meant.
You always say that. Like, are you talking about was it a bet that you made, or was it or the event that happened? I've always wondered that. And of course, I'm in the middle of rolling.
No,
I can't
it's
stop.
when the hand comes to an end. That's when I'm putting where I'm profiting. Even when I seven out, I might not be on a seven in the hopping sequence either. Okay, I might not be betting the sevens. Kevin thinks I bet, at CRC thinks I bet the sevens all the time. I don't bet the sevens all the time. I've explained to everybody this is a moving thing. It has overlapping matrices. It's based on dice sides, outcomes, the game itself. It is what it is. And when it's played right, even when you seven out, if you notice, I only lose $1 or I make $1. But when I go on the come out, I make more money. Even if I crap out, I don't lose a lot of money. I lose dollars.
Okay. All right, John.
Money on the table.
Yeah.
Anything?
Very little
anything
is
else?
left on the table.
Anything else with that, John?
Nope. Just want to get some clarification. Thanks.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, I see it all the time. He plays on my Crapsy shows and he puts it out there, and sometimes, I'm surprised at the amount of money that he's won. But the type of system that he's playing, we sort of talked about it one time, but the way that the sevens up, I think, is what the key is. It's always sevens up, and that just means the dice, the hands up.
That's what I meant. What is the wording
done, and that's
what is
why
he
I'm in
actually
my
saying
profit.
I have a question for him. How much is he actually betting? Because the amounts are pretty insane.
Well,
okay.
I've showed people graphs of this, and Jeff, let me tell you one thing. Alfredo, you are a good shooter. I get a lot of volatility in your graph, like this, my graph. Another one is George, has a lot of volatility in his rows. He's repeating a lot within the matrix. Okay, I noticed this. Jeff personally, I have so much data you guys don't even understand. Jeff, you are. I think I did a live one out there, and I might have had 30 people out there, and I explained to him that you, Jeff, are probably one of the most improved shooters out there, because I've started to see the volatility and the repeating of your shooting just in my graph. It'll do these dips. My misses because you're landing your dice shots are being more consistent. You might not think you are, but you're one of the most improved shooters out there through my data and my theories.
My bone tracker's starting to show it. We did a session with Ed from Roll to Win about a month and a half ago, and we talked about bone tracker. We had 2 sessions on it, and I had the old version of the software. I downloaded the new version. I started using one set for 2 or 3 of my rolls that I do on my show, and been tracking that. It's easy to import and output out of the Craps Nation KPI into Bone Tracker, and I've actually noticed some things, and that's why you see me here lately, Dusted, changed some dice sets. Plus, I've had a little help from some people that I respect in the Craps community. Mm-hmm. So, all right. Anybody else on that topics, I should say? All right. Make sure I'm not missing anything here. Let's see here. Let's go to the next question. That might be for me, so I'm going to save that. Uh-oh. Oh, good grief! This might start a little bit. John, this is for you. Pro Craps. Did you tell them about the crapless bubble craps? God awful. All right, John, you have a story for us?
Yeah. I don't have a story. Jen actually does. Jen sent me in text message today, actually, a video from Hunter Killer 13. Now they have crapless bubble craps, right? Which means, and there's no lays and no buy bets. It's just straight up, like they're completely stroking you on that one. No low lays, no buys on the crapless bubble. And you know damn well some bean counter figured that out. Well, that's it. We're replacing all the things with this, and they're not going to know any better. So, yeah, beware of
I'll throw you
those.
for a
Because you
loop.
can't
I
buy-
saw at
if
Palace
you can't buy
Station.
the extremes. It's completely pointless to play that game.
Well, what
At
was that,
Palace
Dustin?
Station,
Oh,
their
Alfred, go ahead.
bubble, their bubble craps had triple the field, but the regular table only had double. So it goes to show they're trying to reel you into the field over there with their RNG bullshit bubble crap machine.
Tell us how you feel about it. All right. Let's see. Let's go. Well, let's move on. Make sure I read the questions before I put them up there. I'm going to go to Derek. I don't know if he's still here or not. This is Blackburn. I didn't read the whole question, Derek. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it because it's so long. At the table and having a good roll. Table next to you has a full ATS hit in 13 rolls, and the shooter had 25, 25, 25. Is it normal to talk about other table craziness? I think I understand what he means. John, we were at the table in April where Adam had that long roll that you and I waited forever to actually jump in. And, the other table and the other pit people were coming over because he was in the 50s. And they actually stopped kind of playing to come over to watch what we were doing. So does anybody have any comment or any stories they can tell about, like, you're at the wrong table? I think that's what the question is. You're at the wrong table, and then this crap happens.
That happened to us here in Seattle. When I had that 55 roller or whatever it was at the Snoqualmie, same thing. Everybody starts crowding around. The pit boss like, that guy's still shooting, and it's like everybody's there. And one of our good Seattle friends, Craig Rogers, was there for the meetup, and he couldn't get on the table. It was full. He was at the table next to us. And they're like, hey, Craig, how'd you do in that big roll? He's like, I lost $500 because I was on the wrong damn table. But it happens, right? I've been on the other table way more times than I've been on the right table. I can tell you that.
All right.
Fun when
Anybody
that
else
happens.
anybody else have a story about that?
Okay, yeah. So I think Blackburn is actually making a comment about me. I went nuclear on him because he was making a big ruckus right next to myself, and then Patty was inside of me on the right, actually shooting stick left. And he's in the middle of a big roll, probably 16, 17, 18 rolls in, and he's over there on about some lady on the bubble or the plexiglass roll to win that hit the all. And he keeps going on and on and on. And I finally turn him and I think I say, like, shut the fuck up. And like, you have a really good roll going on. And I apologize later, but I think after like 3 or 4 rolls of him continuing to go on about the other person while we have someone in our group on a double-digit roll, almost getting to 20, and he's going on about this other table, I'm just like, dude, like, focus on what's here. Stop talking crap about this other table. And that's just personally me. I mean, I think people that have gambled with me, I'm not a big talker at the table, especially when I'm shooting or if I'm focused on betting. I really like to focus on that aspect of it. When I hit something huge, I might get a little bit animated, but I'm not consistently trying to open chatter. I think you need to stay focused on your shooting, and that's my feeling. Again, everyone's different, and I did apologize to Blackburn because I did go a little overboard with my response to him.
I got you. I think I always look at it as, damn, I'm on the wrong freaking table. Because you know me, I'm always late to the show. I either walk away from the table. Alfredo, you were there when Rich had his roll in March. I literally left to make room for somebody at the table. And then Dan takes me home or back to the hotel. I text Dan later. I said, Dan, Rich is still rolling. And it's 2 hours, not 2 hours later, but hour and a half later, he's still rolling. And we got to see the video, Literally, I walked away right then.
Speedy, the person that you made room for, took one hit and down, and left his ATS up, and that was it.
Yeah,
And,
I know.
and
I know.
so,
I
yeah,
know. I know exactly
oh my
what you're
goodness.
talking about. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
Fun time.
yeah, give me somebody else keep talking. I've got a little surprise here for everybody. I want to somebody else tell me a story before we move on to the next question. I want to be able to.
Well,
pull
I
something
think
in here.
I got one.
on the
I got one. It's a Super Bowl one. It's real quick. We're at the
Okay, go ahead.
MGM. At the MGM, we were walking through, and this guy was in the high roller at his private table, and this guy's throwing tens of $80,000 out, and he was hitting the hard four. And we walked by, we stopped, and the guy's like, "You got to keep going." The guy says, "No, I'll let him watch for a while." And he's like pitching the dice by himself, and he's building up the hard four. He hits it a couple times, and he parlays it up to $129,000 in like 11 rolls, right? And then he hits it again, and I go, "So you up now?" He says, "No, I'm still down big time." Now that's a crazy craps thing.
All right.
Perspective.
Well, yeah, guys.
That's
Let's
like
go ahead.
saw
other than
something-
Alfredo's on old Tony Leo there. That was another one. That was a good one.
All right, we're going to take a sidestep just 1 second because we have somebody that has side in their name that has just joined us from just back in the States. There he is, Chris from Sideshow Gamble.
Hey,
Hello,
Chris, how you
everybody.
Welcome
I'm good,
back,
Jeff. How
Chris.
about yourself?
I'm doing good, Chris. I guess I can cancel your Zoom request over here. I don't know how long you've been watching the show, Chris. Welcome back to the States. Thank you for your service. I see you got back in the area that you were deployed in. Looks like it's kind of gotten a little crazy, but welcome back, my friend.
It's good to be back, Jeff, and thanks for having me. Yes, I am back. We are back in the great 50 states, and I couldn't be happier. It's been a long business trip, but we are done with that business trip for now, and we're back. So, yeah,
Awesome.
I don't have long tonight, but I wanted to stop by and say, hey, I've missed y'all greatly, and we're back.
Well, we're glad you're back. Yep, we're glad you
stay here.
Yep. Yeah, you're glad.
That's the plan.
You
The plan is to stay as long as possible.
Yes, you got a couple chats coming in. They're a little slow coming to my pin system here, but I'm sending them out there to you. We're glad to have you back. I knew you were coming back. I didn't know that it would be this early in October, but you certainly made it back.
So I'm back a little early. I got to come back a little bit early because I got to go to a graduation for my second son, my youngest son, I should say, who's graduating Marine Corps boot camp in San Diego in 2 weeks, and that is where I got to come back early to be at his graduation. So I got to be there for that. So can't miss it.
Cool.
Well, whatever the reason is that you're back, we're glad to see you back. You're getting a lot of hello and welcomes and like to see you back. So a question that everybody's going to ask, how long before we start seeing, how can I say this, non-pre-recorded back in the spring videos of Sideshow Gamble coming out? Have you got the studio
I would
unwrapped?
say we are definitely going to reopen the Sideshow Gamble. The table will reopen. I've got to put everything back together, but we might do a video while we're doing it back together. I'm not sure how I'm going to get that put together yet because I got to go back to work tomorrow. But I am taking some time off here real soon, and my intention is to hopefully, before the end of the year, be back up and running, and we'll do a live, and we'll probably have everybody come in, and we'll have a good old time. I want to do a heartfelt for some good friends out there, Chiro in particularly, because, well, I was pretty close to him. But yeah, we're going to be back live pretty soon, and I'm just happy that I can. It's been a rough 9 months because every time I try to watch Craps Chat, I'm getting up at 2 a.m. to watch it, or like I try and catch some of the Coffee and Craps in the morning, and I do not know what the internet over there. It was just like I'd get like good 5 minutes, and then my internet would just shut off, and it's like craziness. But we're back, and I'm just I want to stop by and say hey to everybody. I missed every single one of you guys. I've been watching everybody as much as I can while I was gone, and you guys have got some really good stuff that you guys come out with over the last year that I really gotta go back and really do some tinkering in my brain with, because I want to try it all out. And I've missed. It's been phenomenal to watch all you guys. I apologize that I haven't been able to answer a lot of comments on the comments of the videos that I came out with. That it's just the internet stunk horribly bad. So
right.
I will definitely be getting back into those and getting all those comments. We just got home Friday afternoon. I know some of you that are on my Facebook saw it was, and I told John this, and I told John, I said, shh, don't tell anybody. And then Jeff sent me a message, you sent me a message, and I was like, calling in at a time when I can find time to say hey to everybody. And yeah, I've missed playing craps. Especially
well, I knew you were going to make an appearance tonight. I just didn't know when, so I waited for you to tell me because of the time difference. I've been out there. You've been gracious enough to invite me into your house with your wife. We did some videos together. We troubleshooted some IT stuff together, and I'm glad to see you back. There is a question here that I think everybody wants to know, and I think I know the answer, but I'll let you tell them. Holy Roller here, Brian, that's in the Zoom call here, wants to know, are you coming to the Craps for the Cure?
For me or for Holy Roller?
No, for you. Are you well, you can answer. The question is, and I was going to ask that question, are you coming Veterans Day weekend to Las Vegas to Casino Quest for Craps for the Cure?
Come on.
I will be unable to make it for Craps for the Cure for myself.
I thought that's what you had said in a chat, maybe Craps chat, or maybe a month ago. You said, I think you worded it, it's highly unlikely. I think is how you worded it.
So I'm in we're in this unique phase right now with my career, and it's par for the course for the time range. Is we usually do a lot of train up for deployment. We do the deployment, and then the instant you get back, I'm going to be PCSing out to somewhere. Could be Alabama. Heck, John, I might be in your neck of the woods. I might be your new neighbor.
Let's go, baby.
JBLM is shooting for me. That's my number one choice right now.
Dude, I'm literally wait, hold on. Wait. That's news to me. I'm house shopping right now. If you move to JBLM, we're staying in Seattle. I'm not moving out.
But hold it, John. He told me that he was coming to Fort Meade. His wife's got family in Virginia.
I do. And it's so what we're waiting on right now, and what we're hoping for is tomorrow. I'm hoping the promotion list comes out, and if the promotion list does come out, because I've been waiting a couple months for it to come out now, because the Army's just delayed it, always submitting that stuff out. If that comes out and my name is on the list, then I will be moving and PCSing again early first quarter of next year, March, April timeframe, to a new location, and then obviously I will get set up somewhere. But you guys are in every state out there, so I know wherever I go, I'm going to find somebody, and we can hook up and link up. But JBLM right now is the number one choice because I've never actually been stationed there. So, and I've got some good friends up there. I know John and another good friend that you all got to watch when we were doing the Craps 101, old Jordan. He is actually up in JBLM currently. That's where he had to leave early from the deployment to PCS, and that is where he is currently stationed. And I'd like to hook up with my old buddy up there and all you guys. And
Miguel is close by to us. Ian, of course, is close by. Yeah, you got it. Let's go. Bring it.
I'm gonna put a question up here, but I don't want to go political.
So a lot of options.
So let's not go political. Alfredo's asked a question here. He wants to know any fears of fast redeployment with what's going on in the world. Just stay political out of it, but just are you worried that you might have to go back?
So some of the units that I'm talking to right now about because you get to interview to these other jobs, I am expecting that I could possibly be gone by summer of 24 to another location. I was over there when everything started happening in the Gaza Strip. Yes, we are doing our job over there. We're doing the best that we're allowed to get for what I do for a living. If you guys know what I do for a living, I do drones. I would say right now, there's on edge, yes, but am I really concerned? I'm not exactly that far concerned that it's going to turn into anything big. What we were doing and all that stuff, I can't say much, but I'm pretty confident and very comfortable with where we were. It was a pretty. There were ups and downs of a deployment. Being gone and
yeah, let's not go into too much detail there, Chris. I mean, I don't want to get you jammed up with any of your superiors, but I knew where you were deployed, so that was something. But you answered the question. Have you got a little bit of time? Stick around on the show. Maybe participate with some of these questions, or do you got to go?
I've got to go, but I'm definitely going to be at the next Crap Chat. It's just I've got some family came into town to welcome me home, and I wanted to take. That was a surprise to me. Because it was my birthday yesterday, so I made it home for my birthday.
Nice.
And my wife told me I had a FedEx package coming from my folks. I was like, all right, cool. And she was like, oh, FedEx is at the door. And I got up from the couch and went to answer the door, and there my parents are standing. So I was like, oh, and they live in Virginia. So it's been a very busy weekend, and it's just been great. It's just good to be home with everybody.
Well, it's nice to see you. I'm glad you're able to make it on the show. We chatted through text, and you said you're going to make the show. So I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're safe. Thank you for your service. We'll move on with the show. Come back and see us. We're looking forward to Sideshow Gamble coming back full steam ahead. And Chris, do I have some updates for you on VMix? You're going to love them.
Oh, hey Jeff, I'm going to be calling you because I'm going to need you to help me remember all that stuff. And I'm going to be calling John because he's going to get me caught up on all the things that have been changing with all the strats that I've been playing. And I've been catching a little bit of the stuff that he's been putting out. And it's awesome. And I got to touch base with everybody out there. And just I really want to do maybe I will figure something out, do a good live, get everybody together again and just have a good old time. I want to talk to John about a few things that I'd like to do something for, again, a good friend. On some stuff, so we'll talk about it more as it comes to fruition.
I've got something for you.
So,
by the way,
all right. Well, we don't want to keep you. We want to move on with the show because I'll start getting comments about moving on. But you got a couple birthday wishes coming in. Everybody's saying thank you for your service. So, Chris, come back and see us. If the family happens to leave in the next hour, you want to come back on, just pop back in, and we'll put you back on the screen.
All right, guys. Love every single one of you. Missed out, y'all. You guys have a good night, and I'll catch you all real soon.
All right, Chris. We'll see you. Thank you. Take care, my friend. Yep.
Take care, too, brother.
All right, there you go, guys. Little surprise there coming in from Sideshow Gamble. I knew it was going to happen. I didn't mean to interrupt the show. I know we lost. Dustin said he had to go get into the hot tub with his wife. A little more than what I wanted to see there. But let's get back to the show and talk about some questions that are here. That are here. I got to keep the show going, guys. Sorry. Where did we leave off at? That's my question. I'm not worried about that. We told that story. We told the Blackburn story. Let's go up here. Leon's got a good question. He's on the panel, too. Leon says, what's the coolest strat video everyone has seen in the past couple of weeks on YouTube? For me, it would be zero. Who would be next? Who wants to go with that? It was a follow-up question, too, he's got. Sorry. There's a follow-up to that.
I will start and say the coldest thing I saw was...
Let me put the follow-up question too, Brian. There's a follow-up question too. What's the coolest video anyone has seen on TV in the past couple of weeks? And what's the coolest follow-up question? And he had a follow-up question. Go ahead, Brian. Sorry about that.
Well, I was going to make a joke about the coldest video I saw was John rolling on Friday the 13th.
He told me about that.
That was a cold table.
Ooh.
Oh my God, that's so bad.
Yeah. I made
a mental note to never play craps on Friday the 13th ever again in my life.
Hell, that was the worst.
Well, I happened to take a trip with my friend Clay up to Dover, and I didn't do so well. But John told me Friday before we went live on Friday Night Fights, which the king is here. To take a look at what took place. I didn't see the show, but that was a pretty good. That was a pretty good joke there, Brian. I like that. Anybody else have any
got one
coolest
for you.
strats? All right, go ahead.
I got one for you, Jeff. And I'm kind of waiting to see Craps for the Cure to see what John does. But David from Casino Quest just did the Wheezy. And that was a pretty awesome little strategy. And I'm really curious I know John's kind of the Bigfoot of stomping strategies right into the ground. I'm kind of interested in seeing, can he actually tear this one up? And I do understand, John, correct me if I'm wrong, I understand you're going to go heads up with him.
Well, I haven't talked about it yet, but David called me out on that show. He's like, I want to see if John, what did he call me, the strategy shredder or something like that, can beat this one.
Yeah.
Wheezy's
I
cool.
texted you, John.
That's going to be a definite. I went and watched. I jumped into that chat live. I actually super chatted him. That one smells like a cruise ship killer to me. It's such a heady strategy.
Is that the $30 don't and the 15 on the 4 and the 10?
Exactly, and then you lay odds up. And you really, most of the time you're tying or barely winning. There's a couple of holes in it here and there, but I'll find the holes. I will buckshot that point every.
I watched that video because I texted John. I said, John, Daddy David just called you out. And then you popped over there and said you'd take it on. I've been playing it on my phone app while I was traveling this past couple of days, and I had some time sitting down. And it works when it works, just like any other strategy. I have my own tweaks to it because I'm a little bit on the hybrid, because if you look at it, you put the odds up, you get paid on the 4 or 10, you bring the odds down, let it roll. And in the long run, it does make money. In the short run, if you're going to hit and get, it's not very good to play.
I would do it more. To me, honestly, I told David this. I'm like, as it is, it's fine. But like anytime it's just one hit and you pull it all down kind of thing, what's going to happen to you over time is you're going to get that 2 or 3 runs in a row where you buckshot the point and you go down $60 or $90. And then all of a sudden you can't hit enough 4 and 10s to make up for it. To me, with that $30 don't and the 15 4 and 10, that's the perfect chance to just take a 4 and 10 for a ride. Like that would be like, to me, if you can get that don't pass out and a little bit odds against the 5 or something, and you play the 4 and 10 the way Ed plays the 4 and 10, maybe a same bet, and then you can pump that thing out. Take advantage of those things, and when you have a chance to, I've always thought there's that like somebody's going to do it. Just get a don't pass out and just rock the 4 and 10 for all it's worth.
Well,
but the Wheezy's cool.
John,
I like the idea. I just know that I'm gonna be hitting inside points and buckshotting them and losing those odds and never hitting the 4 and 10. That's how I'm gonna kill that strategy, and I guarantee you, on the graveyard, it'll definitely I'll pet cemetery that shit to death for sure.
Yeah.
Well, John mentioned a cruise ship. Like, I had all kinds of people messaging me saying, "Hey, you need to see this. You need to play this on a cruise." They were just like, "This is a comp. This will make a bunch of comps." And so I actually rolled it out with some of my modifications, how I would do it if I was on a cruise, and it's coming out tomorrow. I just jumped right on it. I pushed other videos away just to kind of put that one out tomorrow, just so because I don't play odds on the cruise. I never play odds, so either I don't lay odds as well. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, well, it's meant to play for hours, right? And that's, if you're saying that's the secret, then that Wheezy is the secret, right? That might be to sit here and just kind of get my free drinks and play, forever. But you're not going to, like David's always, Mr. Opportunity. There's no opportunity in that strategy. There's none. That thing has zero opportunity unless you're willing to take a 4 and 10 for a spin,
It's a strategy that will take a while, that turns a profit slowly and surely. But you're right, John. I'd like to see you do it a whole week of it and make some tweaks to it. I'm a hybrid history person, and I actually play more than the 4 and 10. and I leave the odds up for an extra roll. But I'm telling you, get a couple back-to-back come outs, and it's a killer. I'm actually putting a higher odds on the 4 and the 10, and I've actually got smacked with that too. So it's a strategy. It wins and it loses. But anybody else had a cool video or strategy cool strategy video that they've seen this past week? Somebody in the chat, give us something else maybe that you've seen this week that we can discuss.
I want to try the DC pony. Frankly, me. I love my horseman, and I love the DC pony that Whalen came out with. I think that's a really cool spin on the horseman. So I'm digging that one a lot. I think that one. I'm not a huge ladder fan, but that one's got some teeth to it, because it does hit all the marks for me. So,
all right. Well, anybody else? Leon, you asked a question.
That was kind of that would have been my answer too. I just watched the Wheezy today, and I knew it was going to get jumped on real quick. So it's a big grindy strategy. So, but I think it's got some holes. John, you got to use the white dice when you roll it out. I think that's the way to kill it. So those white dice are just cursed, man. They're just cursed. So a whole bunch of come out sevens, I think, will kill it for sure. But
I got 4 packs of
Mark the
white
Point
dice.
did a cool Mark the Point also did a cool video this week where if you watched all the way to the end, he talked about why the strategy sucked. And really got into explaining why he didn't like it and poked all the holes in it and stuff like that. And I thought it was really good the way he did it for retention and everything to put up on the screen. Keep the video's not over. Keep watching. And right about when I was ready to hey, this is done. Right at that point, he reeled me back in, and sure enough, I watched the whole video and I'm like, all right, yeah, that's the way to go. That's awesome. So I thought that was pretty good too. So.
All right.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. I like the beginning. It was like, this sucks. I'm like, I have to see this.
All right. Anybody else have anything? Ryan, did you have something you seen or didn't see, or?
Well, so I watched Louisi as well, but I'll be honest with you, I didn't like it. I guess first of all, I'm not a dark style player, so I don't like the don't pass in general. Even though I know the odds say you can play it and make money, I don't know. It seems like every time I've tried it, when I have tried it, I've lost on it every time. I'm always it's always hitting the points or it's come out sevens, it's losing. But I guess I get the idea, right? So playing it don't pass, put some odds down there, 4 and 10. It is, like I've said it before, it's a grinding system. Just I wasn't a big fan of it, other than it just being just okay.
All right.
Anybody else have a comment of people that follow different strategies? So Tommy was on the tournament the other day, and the first 16 rolls are only 2 inside numbers hit. A lot of horn numbers, a lot of 4s and 10s, and he switches to all the hard ways only on the betting, and the next 20 rolls on the next roller, 19 of the 20 were all inside hits with only 1 hard way. So I think you need to bet what's trending no matter what, and don't try to bet something that's not there. Pressing up numbers that are not hitting is idiotic, I think. It's a little bit of a bid coming out.
All right. Anybody with any other videos? Be quite honest with you guys, I haven't watched a whole lot of YouTube craps videos. I've been watching other things, but when David went live, he did it live, and then they did another video afterwards, and they played it again. I didn't see the second one, but when he did it live was the day that I texted John. I said, John, Big Daddy's Daddy Davis just called you out, and it was interesting to watch because I was switching back and forth between something on TV and YouTube. He was up a while, then he was down a while, then he was up a while. So the live went almost 2 hours, and I don't know what he finished at, but it was reminiscent of some play that I had seen before, but I didn't know they called it the Wheezy or Weezer or whatever you guys called it. I didn't know this what it was
named
called.
after some guy. Named after one of David's players when he was a dealer, who actually was a Weezer. I guess he was wheezing all the time. Like that, the dealers nicknamed him that.
All right.
So that's where it came from. Somebody's actual gameplay.
Okay. Let's go over to get some more questions. Follow up to that. Dustin already left. Sorry, Jen, I missed it. It was 30 minutes ago, but maybe Dustin can come back on at some point. He wanted to know, can he explain his main strategy? I've asked that question before as well. And I don't know if I missed any questions. So here's the last question. It's just a simple answer that I have pinned at the moment for Randy. Bone Tracker is available in an Excel spreadsheet. So if you can run an Excel spreadsheet on your Mac or Apple device, then yes, you can use it. John, you know a little bit more about the iOS platform than I can. So can you answer his question? Can it be run? I know you've used it, so it must have to be.
Yeah, they have a Mac version and a Windows version, because there's Excel things that don't work right in Mac, but they put two versions of it out, so you can grab the one. Just make sure you get the right one. If you don't get the right one, talk to Heavy or Nate, and they'll make sure that you get the right one. So it's just a matter of making sure you're part of the Access Power Craps forum. You pay your $12, and you can download the thing. Just make sure you grab the right one, and if not, they're happy to help you out. Those guys are awesome.
Yeah, I was actually trying to bring it up while you were saying that, but evidently I typed something wrong. All right, guys, we need some more questions. So if somebody's got some questions, we have a question just came in here from Arnell. Maybe he'll keep us going. Question: what's the panel's favorite casino and why? Let's limit this to about 60 seconds per person. Then we'll come back around and talk about it. So let me switch over here to my Zoom screen, and let's start with Dice Dr. Dan. He's there in Vegas. He's got a lot of choices. I knew his old routine. I don't know that he's changed now that he said he became a hybrid player. So Dan, your favorite casinos and why?
Boy, that's really a tough one because there's so many of them out here. I think I'd go with Golden Nugget. The crew is usually very, very good. They're normally not training new dealers. The ones that are there know what they're doing, and the table seems to run pretty normal. So I kind of like the Nugget best. And of the tables at the Nugget, I like the one that's next to the bar, and it's got a big pillar there that kind of gets you kind of close to the table. But if I had to vote for one, that's my favorite. Second favorite, and I know Alfredo will probably disagree with me, but my second favorite would be Green Valley.
All right. Well, I'm going to add him to the to chat, and I'll go to Alfredo for the next to answer the question. Alfredo, what's your opinion on the
It's
best
not
casino and why?
unless you're ordering pizza. That's for sure. I actually agree with the Golden Nugget. The Golden Nugget and the table specifically that Dan states is a really good table. I like being on the right side. If you have a blocker, it's ideal because the pass line's so close to the wall. But the bounce is very consistent. If you land it far enough out, bouncing into the wall, there's some dead spots that clearly work well. There's a lot of other great tables. I've played at the Orleans forever, so that's one of the places that I probably play pretty well. But I probably would put second right now, Palace Station, the table that is closest to the roll to win on the inside, not the outside, like close to the cashier, further away from the cashier. That table, I literally hit one side of the ATS 8 out of 10 times that I shot there, and once, twice, plus an all. And so it's a consistent table. That's the one where the fire alarm was going off with Big AZ when he recorded, and I went for a really long shot plus many other shots that were there, both with Craps Hawaii as well as Big AZ. So, yep.
All right. Let's go up to Joe. What's your favorite casino and why?
I don't know if I necessarily have a favorite casino. I've only been to about 6 to 7, the 8 casinos. I like little bits and pieces from each one. I like my local in Green Bay, obviously because I get to know a lot of the people that are shooting the dice and kind of have some good chat back and forth. I enjoyed going on to Juliet, and again, it's not so much the tables that I enjoyed; it was more the company that I was around. We also went to the Hollywood Casino over there, which I actually like that casino. The staff is a little bit, I don't know. But just little bits and pieces. I was in Dubuque last week, and I went to the Q Casino, which is a smaller casino, and they had a table so hard it was just basically the wood and the overlay, and that was it. I mean, I was throwing the dice; they were sticking, and they were actually sliding into the back wall the last 2-3 inches. So I could actually land them flat, and they would slide right into the back wall. So it was nice rolling on there. So, like I said, I don't know if I necessarily have a favorite casino. I just like little bits and pieces from different ones around that I've been to. And a lot of it has to do with the people that are there playing with me or that I'm going to see or that I meet up with. So,
All right. Let's go over here. Let's see who hasn't asked a question. Mark, you're relatively new to the crap scene and playing, but I know you're a big time Vegas. Well, I keep calling you Mark Ryan. You're a big time Vegas person. So what do you like?
So I love O'Shea's. Anytime I go to Vegas, O'Shea's is like, to me, it's like the vibe there. People are always excited. People are always, vibing, especially, late at night. And when the table's rolling, it's a fun table. I like
That
going
place
over to
is
Planet
loud and
Hollywood.
cool. Yeah.
Oh, it is. But now, I mean, I'm telling you, whenever people are in there and it's vibing, I'm not sure if it's the music or if it's the people kind of walking through from, out right there at that little strip, just kind of walking and looking, and they'll stand there for a few minutes. But it's a really fun table to play at. When my wife and I, when we go to Vegas, we always end up playing there at least once a night. I love playing at Hollywood. I like playing the stadium craps. I know it's not your absolute, live feel, but if I'm just sitting there, I want to sit down for a little bit, play it out a little bit. I like rolling on that little table. That short half table. It seems like it's a little easier to throw dice, and I don't know. And I like kind of sitting down and playing my own bets and working them a little bit as well, rather than having to, ask the dealer all the time. If not, I'm not wanting a live table. I prefer a live table, of course, but.
All right. Let's see. Leon, you're down in the panhandle of Florida, so I know you have to travel a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say downtown. I like Circa. They've got that one big long boat of a $10 table, but it's right there by the bar, and I like the atmosphere in there. It's always pretty lively and fun. I actually have decent luck on that table, even as long as it is. And then up on the strip, I'm with Ryan on Planet Hollywood. It's and the roll to win table there. So, or the stadium craps, not the roll to win, the stadium craps. Same deal, sort of a lively thing. And it's hard getting on the consoles that are right there around the table itself. So a lot of times I've walked in there and not been able to get on and just watched. It's pretty neat. And then the real tables are right there next door, so you can walk over there and get good stories off of the big expensive tables as well. So I don't like to play down on the strip because of the high limits or minimums. But you can get away with it on the stadium craps. And then Ellis, you can't go wrong with Ellis at $5 if you can get on it. And again, same deal. Always good stories out of there. Just the salt of the earth crowd that's in there. A bunch of true craps players that have been playing their whole lives, and they know where to go because it's the $5 table. The dealers are all good. It's just a really great, just a block off the strip place to go. So,
All right. I think that brings us up to Brian outside of a cruise ship. Brian.
Yeah. I mean, I think the harder the table, the better for me. I love to play on an ATS because Royal Caribbean doesn't have bonus bets. That's the worst thing about craps on a cruise is there's no bonus bets. But aside from that, I mean, I'll go to any casino where I could be with any of you guys rolling. I think that's it. It's all about the community and the camaraderie that happens around the table. I usually stay at Sahara when I'm in Vegas, and sometimes I'll jump over to Resort World. I like how big and open it is, and because it is a higher limit, it makes me bet like I should bet on the ATS.
All right. Well, Carnival does have the bonus bets, and I can confirm that at least the last time I was on them in late 2022, it's been almost a year now. They do have the bonus bets. But if you ask me, I've traveled. I have to say I'm prone to a couple places in Biloxi. I've traveled this year, despite the hardness of the Hard Rock and no bonus bets, no hot bets. I like that table. I like the Bow, but the crowd didn't want to play there. The reason why I like the Bow Rivage is because of the table. It's deeper, it's taller. I'm a tall person, I'm 6'4", 320, so, I like to be able to reach out there. And the East Coast here, my home casinos have taken it out, replaced it with a stadium craps. I'll say I can't stay in stadium craps, although when I go and travel with the Blue Ridge crew with Big AZ, they play a lot of stadium craps, and it's fun. It's low limit. I like that. In Atlantic City, I would have to say Harrah's, the Oceans, and Caesars probably. I am very fond of the Golden Nugget table in Atlantic City. But for some reason, I've had my best rolls and my best luck, including the bonus bet, and I know my AC group's going to kill me at the Tropicana. I like Maryland live tables, and I've never played at the MGM. In Vegas, I stay at Harrah's, and they mimic my home table that they took out in my backyard, and they have both the fire bet and the ATS bet on one table. But I like playing at Green Valley Ranch for the party atmosphere with the $5 minimum craps, having a great time. So that's kind of like my spiel about where I'm going. I'm looking forward to hitting Tunica early next year, and maybe I'll find a place there. Now, John, you've traveled all over. You've been from Atlantic City to Seattle to, well, I guess they didn't have craps in Florida when you were down there here recently, but you played in Kansas City. What do you say?
Yep. I born and bred in Harrah's. Like that's, when I was a kid, we played at my parents. That was where we played. So I was born and bred there. I love Harrah's AC. I love Harrah's, and I stay at Harrah's in Vegas every time I go. Like I just love. I'm like in tune with just how that casino's energy is and like where everything is, and it's comfortable to me. So I'll always pick there. And it's just the dealers are great. And I go twice a year, and they know me. Like it's like I feel like it's home. So that's my number one wherever I go. I always go to a Harrah's if I can find it. But I love Golden Valley Ranch. I really loved Palace Station. I'd never been there before. I went out there to film with Brian, and I couldn't have been more impressed with the table. The crew was amazing, and find I'm an okay shooter, right? I don't really seek out the great tables. I'll avoid the shitty tables, but I don't know what a great table is. But the crew at the Palace Station and the crew at GVR and the crew at Harrah's are so awesome. Just can't wait to go back and play. Looking for the dealers that I like. That's the kind of place I want to go play. I just feel like that's where my money is gonna. If it's gonna leave me, it's gonna leave me with a reach around. I don't know how else to say it, but I want to have a good time. That's
You mentioned the Palace Station. I left that out of Las Vegas. It's not somewhere where I normally go and play, but the couple times that Lauren Big AZ filmed there, I had a good time there. I sucked the whole time. Alfredo will attest to this. I sucked the whole time throwing in March. It took me 9 times before I got past the before I got past the PSO. And when I did, the whole table applauded. So I appreciate that. But I really had a horrible time. But Palace Station was nice.
You went on to a double-digit roll. That was at Santa Fe.
Yeah, I did. I went on to have a double digit. Yes, I did. Finally, on video.
Yeah,
on video. And Jen says in the chat here, she says Tropicana. I'm not going to put the word up there. Jen, you wouldn't believe it. They've changed that felt on the private table room, and it's new felt. It's not 40-year-old felt. And instead of taking the bonus bet on the table like they had it before the ATS, they put hot bets on it, and none of the other tables in the Tropicana Atlantic City have hot bets. But it looks nice, but it's totally different. So I've never played on it, and I don't think I'll ever play on that private room table anyway at the Tropicana.
Hey Jeff.
Yes.
Yeah. So you brought. So I'm gonna build off something that John said. So definitely the crew is a big deal, right? Because if you have somebody that's really negative or not really wanting to work with you, if you're making your bets, that's always aggravating, right? Mm-hmm. Now, with the stadium craps, you said you didn't like stadium craps. What is the reason? Is it just personal? Do you like the live table, or what is it about stadium craps that you don't prefer? Because I mean, again, to me, it's more relaxing. You don't have to worry about bothering nobody. You can, like I said, you can talk to anybody you want to if you want to, or it's just kind of more personal when
Well,
you want it to be.
I've played a stadium craps at Planet Hollywood. Of course, there's many seats, and then only 15 people get to roll. At my local, they put in stadium craps. There's only 8 seats. At a couple places in Atlantic City, they have stadium craps now. There's only 8 seats. But I just I don't know. I don't the realism that it has to real craps. Is different for me. I guess it's whether you like Ford or Chevrolet. I don't like it. I don't particularly care for bubble craps, although I was amazed at what Jen could do at a bubble craps machine. I tried to emulate it, failed miserably, not once, not twice, but many times. But I don't know, Ryan. I just don't like it. I mean, it's personal preference, I guess.
What would you think?
And I feel the same way.
Ask you a question. A follow up here. So the stadium craps, I like it. I like the fact that you can shoot. I like you can bet on it. What if, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm not saying it's not going to happen. What if that became an online thing? What if you could bet online with the same interface you use at the stadium craps little machines, and there's people actually shooting the dice, and you're just looking at that camera, and you're betting against those folks whenever you feel like it?
I think that's actually coming. I think that's actually coming.
I didn't want to say, but that's coming to a phone near you. And that feels like the best of all the worlds. Like it's real people, real dice. It's not that stupid.
As long as it's a regulation table, like 12 feet minimum, I think that works. But the reason I hate that table as well, and all of the ones that are out there, is they're ultra bouncy, they're super small, and they're not realistic to anywhere you're going to get from a shooting position on a craps table. And so
the rest of your table at home is 8 feet long.
Yeah, at least it's real. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. At 8 feet, I mean,
they're more narrow. They're not as wide. If they were more realistic, even at the 8 feet, to simulate the stick left or stick right, then I think it's perfectly fine. But the fact that the tables are astronomically different is what does it for me.
You do have to shoot from straight out, but yeah, I like it because it's literally like throwing on my table at home. I don't have a huge table, so I have about a 7-foot table maybe, and it's straight. I'll shoot straight out on it, and it's almost the same. It's like shooting on my table at home.
All right. I just think it's it's kind of like like personal preference, but let's go ahead and move on. We've got a couple more questions, and we want to wrap up with maybe a little recap on the Craps for the Cure. And to answer SJ's question, we just did talk about this earlier. I know SJ, you're late getting to the show, but yes, we talked about that earlier, and John was telling us that they do now have crapless bubble craps. So yes, we did see that. So
without the buy, that's the bad part about that. No buy bets, at least. You can buy the outsides on the real bubble, on the real crapless. This is like garbage if you're gonna.
All right, let's move on. This is a very long question from Jen, and you probably can't see it because the chat scrunches it down. But who is actually tracking their real profits and losses this year, and how is it going with the year-to-date bankroll? I'm finally up for the year. No thanks to the Seattle and the Atlantic City meetup. So. I track mine every time I go, profits and losses. For this year, it's so far not a good year for me, but the previous 3 years are good. I'm barely on the positive side, but I am on the positive side. This last trip, this last Friday when I went with Clay to Dover, I wish I hadn't gone, and probably we shouldn't have because it was Friday the 13th. I should have stayed and just watched John's show. So anybody else tracking their wins and losses? I mean, I think probably most of us probably do. We'll start with Dice Dr. Dan. I know he's pretty meticulous. Dice, Dan, do you track yours, I'm sure? There it is. I can't see it. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, I track every session that I go to, and whether I won or lost, which casino it was, how much time I spent there, and then from there I end up getting how much am I making or losing per hour. And this year I'm not doing too bad, which means that I'm down a little bit for the year, and that's because I'm doing so many trying so many different things. I think once I get myself settled in where I'm just going to play one way and stick with it, I should be okay.
Okay. All right. Let's go, Brian. I know you probably track yours on the cruise, not only from the point standpoint to get the free cruise, but also your profit and losses.
Yeah, so I just did, I think a live or not too long ago because so I have all these numbers, but I actually have my totals. But last year or from last year until now, so beginning of 2022 until now, I've spent $22,000 overall on cruising, which is flights, everything, bankroll, everything. And I've received $105,000 worth of comps. And the bankroll side of that is I actually started with $600. I grew that to 4,000. The 4,000, it would go down to like 3,000 and back up to 5 and then down to 3. And then I lost 4,000 on one cruise trying to chase. It was horrible. I would, if I had to like log all that, I would say I'm down about 2,000 this year. But I view these comps as a win.
All right. No, nice. Let's go to Ryan. Ryan, unmute yourself, and do you track what you do?
I literally, like I said, so I live in Georgia, so I only get to go to Vegas on a cruise, 2 to 3 times a year. And I know I made $1,200 in January. I made $2,000 in Vegas, and I lost about $2,000 on in June. So I'm probably break even for the year. But again, I only get to go just a few times a year, so it's pretty easy for me.
All right. Let's go to Leon. Great craps.
I do. I'm a spreadsheet guy, so I have a spreadsheet. I'm not good at updating it, so I need to update the last 2 trips. But in lifetime, I know that I'm down. I did some stupid stuff when I was first learning, and so still trying to get back up to that. But I would say this year I'm probably up or break even. So we'll find out when I get all the data input. And I've been sort of slacking behind because of my move and everything this year. So.
All right. Let's go to Crapsmaster Journey, Joe, who still has not won. That's not true, right, Joe? That's not true, right?
Actually, it is true, Jeff, because I still haven't received my shirt yet. You were to send me a shirt. I never got it yet. But anyhow,
well, you have a coffee mug coming because Jeremy won it and gave it to you, so you have one.
Okay,
it's
I
coming.
didn't see it. But, yeah. Anyhow, I do track my stuff. And I am down for the year, but mine is basically a bankroll issue. My bankroll is so limited that I have to pick and choose when I place bets, when I don't. And my big thing this year has been trying to find the right shooter. For example, I was down in Joliet about a month or so ago, and Alfredo was shooting so-so, and my bankroll was getting low for that day, so I decided to jump off the table for his shot. And he had a monster freaking row, and Corey jumped in on it and benefited. So mine's a bankroll issue, and it's an opportunity issue. I just haven't been hitting the table at the right moment to build a table. I have all the confidence in the world that if I get the right shooter, and my betting strategy is solid, that I will make money off of it. But as of right now, I'm down for the year a little bit.
Okay, let's go to Alfredo. I saved you for last.
Yeah, it's interesting that Joe just sort of mentioned that. I tell everyone that's out there, when I'm on my shows as well, that you need to stick with the shooter for the entire day, multiple days, if you expect to see the crazy rolls that do happen. And the problem is that there's never a guarantee when it's going to come. It may come back to back, and if you're not there at the table at the time, you're not participating in it. And that's where bankroll does matter. And the last couple of years have been really, really good to me. Actually, the last 6 weeks or the last 5 trips have all been positive, and that's turned around the year that led off like to a $5,000 or $6,000 loss, and then now it's probably over $20,000 to the positive. So for me, it's making sure that I stick with the ways in which I play and blocking away wins. Like when I was with Dan, in 3 short hours, I was up $1,800, and that was
Nice.
3 1-hour sessions, and he was up $600. And he turned to me and said, "Well, I expected that you might have bet more and won a lot more." And I said, "Well, what do you want me to bet? Do you want me to bet, 330 inside and be down $6,000 if the rolls were all of a sudden different? I don't need to do that. My skill is such that I know that I'm going to have some good rolls. They may not come right when I want them, but they will come, and they'll make up for most of the bad rolls." And that's what SJ and Hazel were able to take advantage of this past trip. They were there for an all hit, 2 sides of the ATS, and then another side of the ATS and another one for Hazel the night before, and they stuck with me. And so they were able to reap benefits of getting back a bunch of their bankroll that they had lost earlier on in the trip. And those were rolls that actually made me well into the positive for the trip after having some choppiness.
All right. Thank you. I'm saving John actually for the last. You were last on the panel, but John, I know you run the whole spreadsheet. You have got to be as analytic as you are, and I'll use that word politely. As analytic as you are, I know you track probably on the bubble craps to the penny. Is that true?
I am down to it. I got everything. I'm like $640 something up, like for the year. And honestly, I did great in Vegas. The 2 times in Vegas, and like my life, right? I had great trips, and I bled out ever since. Like my local casinos have been really bad to me. Like even the Seattle meetup, I had that great roll, made some money. Next day, just bled that shit out over the course. I find myself locally trying things out. Like, hey, let's bring $700 and try some of this stuff tonight, and I burn it out. So I ended up having these great sessions, and I kind of just bleed, and that's my, when I look at the analytics, that's my problem. I can see huge positives and a bunch of reds, and I'm like, well, that sucks. But I'm a net negative big time for the year because I've spent from my G account all the things, right? 2 brand new Mac Minis. I just got this beautiful black MacBook, came in like Friday. This is the Craps for the Cure streaming computer that came in. So the G account's taken a hit because even though I'm up for the year, I'm spending it all on stuff for the channel. So yeah, I'm gonna take my own advice and Ken's advice. I'm gonna split out the G account and the expenses account, and like keep gambling as its own thing, and keep the shit I buy separate. And like my travel has always come from my 401g account. Like it's always been like the one place to keep it all. I now have 2 accounts, one for purely buy-ins and one for all the ancillary stuff that goes around it, so I can track separately. Because it gets all jumbled up, and I can look at the ledger and say, yeah, for the year I'm up or down, but a lot of that is expenses. And I think it's unfair to roll those together.
And I do keep a column for expenses versus bankroll versus overall. And
but at the end of the year, I started the year with like $7,500. I have like 3,600 now, but again, it's 2 computers and a bunch of cameras and shit that got rolled into that, plus the plane fare, to go, So that's I'm trying to be better at separating that money out so I can track it better because people want to know.
Yeah, I don't intermingle my channel stuff with the craps play, but I do keep my expenses. Everything from food to airfare to hotel reservations to the transportation. But there's a line when you go across. I may have had a positive session, but I had some expenses that didn't overcome what I won. And the problem is, early in the year, I lost and I had the expenses, so it made the year worse. And that's where my bottom line is. There. Real quick before I get to Dan's question that he wants to ask the panel, Brian, you're still here with us. Alfredo asked something in chat. I don't know if you answered or not. He wanted to know, does Royal void the roll on both shorts? I think is what he's asking.
Like if you play the pass line and the don't pass at the same time?
No. If the roll of the dice both land short, do they void the roll like other critters land?
Yes. If both dice don't hit the back wall, it's a no roll, no exceptions, no, it's like
That's a huge benefit for
it'll
someone
be
like me because most of my sevens
Yeah.
come on that, just like Jeff.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
So
it's sometimes people get angry when it's the point and they say no roll, but then they're happy when it's a 7 and they say no roll.
all right. All right, Dan, you
I've
put in
never
the
seen
chat
it say
that
no
you
roll.
I have. I've been on Carnival and Princess and said no roll, even when
What,
one
on a
dice didn't
7?
hit it. Yes.
I've been, yeah.
Oh, not on a
I've been
7.
on
No, not on
Royal
a 7.
Caribbean. I've been on
Right.
Royal Caribbean, and if it does not, it could be 1 millimeter from the back wall, one of the dice, and it doesn't touch. No roll. It does not matter what the number is. They will call no roll right away.
Wow. All right, Dan, the floor is yours. You said you had a question for the panel.
Yeah, I've been doing this for about 35 years, and today I saw something that I have never ever seen before. There was a fellow. He's on a good roll. I don't know how many numbers he'd already thrown, but he's in a good roll, and he's dancing around while he's doing it, and he has to go to the bathroom. So he asked if he could go to the bathroom, and they asked everybody at the table if they would just hold off and wait. And everybody agreed to do that. I've never seen that before. And I was wondering if anybody else has seen it. And if you have, what's the right thing to do when the man returns, or the man or woman returns back to the table and starts throwing again?
I personally have never seen it. I was at the table. John was there too in April, where they had to bring a fill in, and Adam was shooting, and he said, "Do I have time for a pee break?" And they said yes. 6 people left the table and came back, and he picked right up where they were. To answer your second part of your question, I probably would have, I don't know. I'm not superstitious, but bets off just to see. Because hopefully they wash their hands, and you never know. Because if you get your hands a little sticky, I don't know. Anybody else heard what Dan said? Anybody experienced it?
I've been at the table where it's happened about a dozen times, where the whole table has to agree, and then they allow that person to go use the restroom. But I think the proper protocol is probably to turn your bets off. I've seen that happen probably of those half dozen times. I think four of them were 7s right away as soon as they came back.
All right. Anybody else? Going once.
I would just
Going
regress
twice.
down to minimum bets. I would say take me down to minimum bets and then start over. I'd treat it like a new roll.
Okay, Brian, thanks. All right. I saved this question sort of for last. It's about DIs again on the panel, and it's associated to the DIs on the panel. It was almost a half hour ago. It was asked by Matt Kenna. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce that right, but for the DIs on the panel, how many throws do you guys make before you decide to switch the dice sets? I don't consider myself a DI, but I do set the dice, and I only change my dice sets on a come-out roll to see the difference or to try to snipe an ATS needed number. But I'm not that good. I don't call that. So anybody else on here want to talk about changing dice sets, whether you're a DI, a good one, bad one, or indifferent?
Yeah,
All right, Joe.
I think changing your dice sets should be new shooter mostly, unless you have 3 or 4 come out 7s, and it's with that same set. Then you're seeing enough information in a row to say you probably should change something, because it's not, I'm getting it out of the way. That's the set that you're setting, and you're throwing a bunch of 7s. If the come out roll is really there to give you information, and if it can add on to information that you already have, you now know that you're in a danger zone, and you can go from maybe an off-axis set to an on-axis set to combat, the 7 for a little while longer.
All right, Joe, go ahead. You were going to say something?
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I run a show every Monday morning, 8 a.m. Central Time, and it's called a Level Up program. And I'm on the brown belt. I actually put together a dice shooting program, and it's documenting my journey from a novice to hopefully an advanced shooter by the time I'm done. And I'm on the brown belt, which is one before black. And the brown belt is all about variety, shooting from different positions at the table, choosing different dice sets, learning when to change the dice sets, and all of such. Um, I began the brown belt level off using a matrix that George from CY put together, and George has it set up where he makes a mental note of the prior two throws, and then he'll make a change of his dice set based off of that. And that's where I started the brown belt off with. I have since taken advice from other people, such as Alfredo, where you find out what your dice are doing on the majority of your throws. For example, I throw one dice off axis on a very regular basis. So that way I can adjust my dice sets from there. So I have since taken George's matrix and simplified it to some degree so that way you can see what the majority of your rolls are, and then you make adjustments off your dice set based off of what your majority roll is. So and 3 different dice sets you can really, or 4 different dice sets you really go with is your hardware set, your 3V, which also includes the 2V and the cross 6s, your all 7s, and then your kissing set. So you can kind of make adjustments based off of that. So check out the level of program. I'll occasionally flash over to the screen to kind of give you guys some guidance on how to adjust the dice sets. Now, everybody is different when it comes to their dice sets. Just because one day works good with the hardware set for me does not mean it's going to be good for everybody else. How you throw the dice is very individual, and each individual day you throw the dice is individual as well. So that's kind of my answer towards that question.
Okay. All right. Anybody else want to take a stab at it?
I can tell you what my keys are. I mean, I don't change sets very often, but I do look at certain things. Like, I throw that stack throw. So the only thing I can really tell is if one die or the other is behaving or not. And so if one die is behaving and one die is not, I stay right where I am. Whatever set I was throwing, I stay with it. Because that's, to me, the dream set. If they're both misbehaving, I'll just turn one. And I don't even pick a set. I just turn a die just so that when it misbehaves, it behaves. That's all I'm really doing. And I'm probably like, if there's such a thing as a transparent belt, that's where I am, Joe. I don't even earn a color yet. But you can see, but if you watch my throws in the mornings, right, there are days where I come right out of the gate and both are behaving, and I start with a 26 roller and I'm done. My paycheck's out in 3 seconds. There are other days where I fight it for, PSO, 4 roller, PSO, and then I go off on a 22. I think it's when I figure out which die needs to be flipped that it just starts working for me. Whether there's any truth to that or not, I don't know, but it feels that way to me. So I start with a hardware set, and if I see bullshit on both dice, I go, okay, well, they're both jacked up. So I turn one. And so that when that one jacks itself up, it ends up being the right thing. And most times I get double digits and I can make a paycheck. That's exactly what I do. And I don't go any more in depth than that,
See, first of all, John, that's the camouflage belt level that you're at. Just kidding.
The camo level, that's what it is.
This whole belt level thing is kind of a marketing thing for myself, guys, because I was in martial arts, and I like putting things together like John does. I like making a system or a program or whatever, and things need to be black and white for me. I can't go and just figure things out on the fly. I have to have, if A happens, then I have to do B, or if B happens, then I go to C. Everything has to be spelled out for me, and that's why I went with this belt system. And we started off with just the basics, everything from how do you hold the dice, to how do you throw the dice, where do you land the dice, where, to the dice sets we're working on now. Now we're working on variety, different throwing positions, different grips, different dice sets, different everything. And you got to find what your strength is, and then hopefully capitalize on that. So that's hopefully going to be this next belt level, that black belt level, is actually taking the strengths that I've learned all the way through the entire system and start putting it together. So if you guys watch me, some days I absolutely freaking suck. This last week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I don't think I got a roll over 8 rolls. And then Thursday and Friday, I had bunch of really good rolls. I went live with Alfredo on Saturday. I had an 18 roller to start off with, and your average rolls is what, 6, 7, 8 rolls. So that was well above average. And then the next two, I did a PSO, and I think I did a 6. Um, but changing the dice sets around, knowing what your strengths are, knowing what to capitalize on and what changes to make, I think is vital when you do throw the dice. Again, remember this is all random, but we can hopefully minimize that random by working on your practice sessions. Practice shooting the dice or throwing the dice. So it's just my 2 cents on that.
All right. We'll go on real quick. Leon asked a follow-up question to your question. I missed it. Can you tell us what the outcome was when the person came back to the table?
I'd be glad to tell you. When he left the table, I colored up and walked away. And I went to the cashier, got my money, came back, and he went on to hit 3 more points.
Oh, wow. Well, there you have it. That's probably what would happen to me.
But if you had colored up, it would have went the other direction completely.
That's the only thing I got to hold on to.
Yep. I'm going to put this up here, and then we're going to go around to each one of the panelists and wind up with John talking a little bit about Craps for the Cure. I brought the website up, John, so you'll be able to talk a little bit about it before that. Let me go ahead and put this up here. Question, it says at Mac, but it's geared to everybody, and I read it wrong earlier. So this goes back almost 2 hours ago. This is from a guy named Trey. He's newer to a lot of our channels. It's Two Wheel Paradise, and he says, question for Mac. Let's see, ITC. Early in the show, he said, it's early in the show, but I wanted to thank all the presenters and all the shows. That's everybody's show. Everybody that's here does a live show, recorded videos, and each of your time and dedication for the whole Craps community. It is extremely appreciated, and it's signed by Trey. So to everybody that's here on the panel, there's somebody. We don't necessarily always get those types of comments, but when they do come in, they are nice. They are nice to hear. We talked about this once before. I seem to get a lot of communication. I don't get too many haters anymore, but I've had my share of haters. But Trey, thank you for all of us that are here. We're going to go around the room here, as I'm going to let Nemo into the room here. At least I hope it's Nemo. We don't see some kind of something jump up on the screen, so everybody be prepared in case I have to switch the screen. We will go over to let's go to Brian. He sat here with us all the time, first time on the show, but he's watched it. Brian, your channel, real quick, 60 to maybe 90 seconds. What do you have planned? What do you have coming up? And you are a very fast growing channel.
Well, I don't know if I'm fast growing, but I try to do something every day. So whether it's a short or a long, so I have Monday, Wednesday, Friday, are long versions, and all the other days are little shorts. Mainly just asking people to subscribe. And then the other thing that I'm planning on doing, because I have a lot of people that some people that are on the cruise, they've never played craps. So I'm trying to do some like basic craps strategies. And I know there's plenty out there, but I have a lot of people asking me. So I think every Wednesday from now until the end of the year, I'm just going to roll out a craps strategy, even if I do one over more than once. So that's basically what I have. And then there'll be on Mondays and Fridays, there'll be cruise content, even if it's craps and cruising, but there'll be cruising. And then Wednesdays, I'll be on the table at home.
All right, let's go over to Dice Dr. Dan. I know you and I talked not too long ago about some changes that was coming. Your 90 seconds starts now.
Okay, well, what I did with my channel is I wanted to go from somebody who'd never played the game to be able to take them all the way up to the point where they can play it. My final video on my channel ends up being the no don't, no bet, which I'm hate to kind of say, but it's still in flux. I'm still kind of working on it, but I've got the basics of it down. One last thing. Here's a set of dice from El Rancho Casino, which was the beginning of the strip here in Vegas. These dice are from the 1940s, and if you want them, you're going to have to bid on them at
There
the
you
Craps
go.
for the Cure auction.
Nice, nice.
Dan's
All
got
right.
so much cool memorabilia. My God, you're awesome.
Yeah, I know that chip collection he put together last year. Ed thoroughly enjoys that. So, wow, nice.
Wait till
All
you see
right,
this
Ryan.
year's.
Ryan, what's going on with Mark the Point?
Hey guys. Yeah, so I've actually well, first of all, I've really enjoyed doing videos. I mean, from the start. I love it. It's so much fun. Been getting a lot better feedback. I've been changing a lot of my production, a lot of how I've been doing my videos as far as, the graphics and, just kind of putting little things in there. And to me, that's fun. It's fun playing with my thumbnails and different ways of doing that. I actually have two things one thing I'm really starting to do now, maybe for the next couple weeks, is the $100 scrap challenge. So basically, I'm going to try to bust. Can you make any money with $100? Starting at a $15 table, and I actually rolled out two tonight. While my wife her and my daughter was out, so I said, you know what, let me roll these things out. So it's basically going to be a couple little small series of, if you have $100 and you go up to a craps table, can you win money with it? And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, between us and everybody on YouTube here, you can't make hardly anything with $100 with a craps table on a $15 level. It's so difficult because 50% of your bankroll is basically out there at any point in time. Could be slack, but it's fun to kind of show people, what kind of bankrolls that you really need to be able to play, to be able to have, to be able to play something. But it's off the wall stuff. I'm playing hardway sets. I'm playing ladder systems. I'm playing all press, and then it's gonna be fun stuff. I've already got two of them rolled out. I'm gonna be probably putting out the next couple of weeks. But no, I appreciate the community really giving me some encouragement and feedback. That I love the feedback that y'all give me. Even between you and John, and all y'all really give me some great information I'm kind of running with.
All right. Well, welcome to the Craps community. I would say our Craps community, but there's over 200 channels here, and maybe we got a quarter of them that participate on a regular basis with us in this little section. Here, I forgot to mention, I kind of hinted at it a little while ago, Leon, the new reigning King of the Mountain, Friday night win. The King, he beat Glenn Galenor on Friday night in a spectacular match that I sucked at dealing. But anyway, Leon, what's going on with Great Craps?
Well, I finally moved in. We're still unpacking boxes here, and got a lot of travels lined up. So we just went to Ireland last weekend. I'm still going to do that. Craps on a plane at some point. I had the perfect opportunity to shoot the video this last trip. I ended up with the flagship seats, which is, if you don't know, an American, that's like the overseas, they call it business class, but it's like a little mini suite, and the seats go completely flat, and you have this huge table, great service, the whole 9 yards. It's really like one of the top line first class seats, and I didn't have all the stuff I needed with me to do it. And they couldn't. Looking into the Wi-Fi that was available, that I couldn't stream. So the goal is to do it streaming live. And if I can't do it streaming live, then I'll just record a video. But that's on my agenda, is to eventually get on one of these flights, going somewhere, craps on a plane, on a little tray table right there in front of you. They would play a good 15, 20 minutes or whatever. But production-wise, otherwise, I have a few things bouncing around in my head. There's a video that I need to do that is overdue. I just saw a version of it someone else put out here not too long ago. It's like everybody's done a crap strategy, the same strategies over and over again. They've all got their little tweaks. There's almost nothing you can do that somebody hasn't already done before. But I've got my little spin on it, and then every day I'm coming up with new stuff. John gave me some quick ammo last week there when he was doing the challenge for the 6 and 7 stack, 5 and 6 and 7 stack challenge. And so that was a quick, easy one to do and just get on the fly and pop out and record it and put it out. So I get them in when I can. I try to focus on quality if I can. And I got my table set up now and cameras and stuff. Everything's slowly coming back together. So we'll hopefully get some new content out soon.
All right, real quick, I just put a chat up there for Michael Blocker. Said the craps on a plane. He probably didn't see the video with your little little, I guess you can't see it, but you got this little
Oh, yeah.
setup. I mean, you have it handy somewhere? Can you show it to us real
Yeah.
quick
Like a mouse
before we
pad.
go
Yeah,
over
yeah,
to Level
yeah.
Up? I was going to go to Alfredo next, but he coming off screen, so we'll go to Alfredo last. There it is. He actually had that on the tray table in the plane and playing craps on the plane. So, Michael, that's what that's about. You go and check out his channel.
Tiny chips.
And,
Tiny
yeah.
chips.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Leon. That's good. Joe, Level Up. You just talked about it. You just said it was Monday, but it's actually Monday through Friday. It's 9 a.m. my time. I know this earlier in the week. John was promoting some channels and stuff on his Coffee and Crap show, and when he said 6 a.m. his time, it's us on the East Coast versus the West Coast. It's really hard to to get this. It is tough. And Joe, you get off work. You head down to your dungeon, your craps pit, whatever you want to call it, and you roll out the show 5 days a week for an hour. You gave us your journey, but what else is coming up with the 314 Craps Master Journey? Big Joe from Wisconsin.
Big Joe from Craftsmaster Journey. But hey, first of all, I wanted two things. One, Paradise, thank you for the compliment. I have seen you out there. Everybody's welcome to this community. You guys participate. We're a great group of people. At least the people I've met have been really great and really easy to interact with. Number two, check out Hawaii Craft Shooters. They have a craps crib every Saturday morning. They feature 1 or 2 craps cribs, and send your pictures, make a video, send it over to Brian. He'll feature you on his show on Saturday mornings. Pretty cool setup. As far as what's coming up for me, obviously my 5 days a week, I do my Level Up program, but I also am going to be doing a craps table build coming up very shortly here. I'm going to be starting hopefully within the next 2 weeks. Unfortunately, it will not be ready for the Crafts for a Cure like I promised. So it'll be available for next year. I'm going to be giving that up for either auction or random ticket or however you're going to do it, John. But it's going to be unlike any other table that anybody's ever seen. It's going to be a craps table, throwing station, receiving station that you can put in a dining room or a kitchen. You won't even know it's a craps table. You guys got to check it out. It's going to be really cool. I plan on starting the build in about 2 weeks or so. But the videos will not be out for another month or two. When I did my original craps table build, I ran into a problem where I was building that week. I did the whole week worth of edits, so I had to get the darn thing out to be aired, and then I would start the next one. It was just a rat race. So I'm going to build the entire table before I start putting the videos out, so I can edit the videos. You guys can see exactly how it's built, and hopefully it'll be a lot of promo type stuff, so you guys can start bidding on it next year at the Crafts for a Cure, and hopefully bring a lot of money for whatever cause we go with next year. So that's what's on the agenda for me in the docket.
And Joe, I just want to say there's a misconception on dice calls, because I listen to you in the morning and I learn a new dice call or whatever. We know people have dice calls after their names, and Jen is here in the chatter. She was, and on my show earlier in the week, John said,
right.
"Did anybody ask Jen if we could call her that?" But the official call for Jen is really the 325. Is that correct?
Yeah. See, what I've done is, guys, my show is boring as hell. And I try to make it interesting, not only for myself, but the people watching. This is all about my journey about throwing dice. So one of the things I've been doing for the past, say, 2 months or so is I'm coming up with different dice calls. And I'm picking out, and it kind of started with square pair with the Heart 8. And then I kind of jumped on the bandwagon with the 314. And then Alfredo took us Alfredo sauce. And I'm trying to come up with different people, either content creators or big supporters in the community, that we can come up with a dice call for. So we have the square pair, we have the 314, we have the 5-2 Bruce from Nemo, Did Not Become Shark Bait. We have the 5-4 Big Mac Hard 9, which is Jeff from Mid-Atlantic Crafts. And we have the 3-2 Justice Jen, or I call it the Justice 5. And I kind of got the idea from Hawaii 5-0, the Popo, Justice Jen. So that's how she get the 3-2. But now Brian came up with the 6-4 Justice Jen. So he has since recanted that since he found out about the 3-2. But I have a bunch of there's probably about 10 different dice calls that I have, guys, and I'm always looking for new ideas because I want to include everybody in the community that has been a valuable contributor. Let's get out and recognize these people, because we as a community are what makes it. It's not one individual person. it's everybody together. So
Thank you.
So give me some ideas, guys. I'm looking for new dice balls.
There's one on the screen now. 6-2 is a great 8 from Great
That's
Craps.
actually no, it is not.
I know,
I'm sorry,
Duracell.
Leon. Yeah, Duracell. I already gave on the Duracell 8 because Duracell has been a huge contributor to the majority of our channels. So we got the 6.2 Duracell 8, but if you want to go with the 5.3, that's not determined yet. So I can give you the 5.3. So let me know, Leon.
I like 6.2 because it's 62 is 7 away from another number that's really nice.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a little short, a little bit late on that one, buddy.
All right, let's head over to Alfredo. You're keeping busy, and your travel schedule just blows me out of the water that you've traveled so much in the past 6 weeks. We chatted earlier in the week about your adventures, and you actually got a little worn out, a little tired, and
It's
so tell us what's going on
exhausting.
with the Texas Crapshoot. I like the hat there. You got the Pacific Northwest meetup hat on.
Yeah, so we're still, I'll be at the Craps for the Cure, and the very next month I'm back into Vegas for Fuji's wedding from Craps Hawaii. So I'll be there probably twice in December. So it's just been crazy from Chicago to Biloxi to Las Vegas to Seattle, back to Vegas again, and lots of different trips, meeting a lot of great people. The community continues to grow. We had new people show up during the Big AZ meetup that hadn't been on any of the meetups prior to. So it's great just to see the community grow. I'm back at my normal, trying to get back to a normal schedule for Crapsy. And then the bonus, we'll have the first one here on Tuesday. Outside of that, releasing more shorts that you'll see. I'm not putting on the thing. I'm just putting YouTube, Texas Crapshooters. They can get the picture. I'm not asking for subscriptions. They'll click if they want to subscribe. And just putting out shorts that are connected to already videos that I already have. And you'll probably see me revamp all of my training series of the different videos about the basics of craps and whatnot, just to get cleaner content in there that has better thumbnails, that have just better overall production. But beyond that, just steady releases, and you'll see me live at a craps table. So.
All right. Thank you, guys. John doesn't know what's about to happen here, so I'm gonna bring somebody in. We're gonna end up, guys. If you're watching, we got 50 people currently watching this show. We're gonna talk about what's coming up here in less than a month at Casino Quest in Las Vegas. We're gonna be raising money. The craps players, the craps communities. We're gonna be raising money for veterans, and I want to bring in this gentleman right here who was a little bit instrumental in coming up with the idea with John and Adam. He asked if he could come in. He said he's got a 2 minutes. He's got a 2 minute. How'd you word it, Adam? I'm not sure what you said, but go ahead. The floor is yours.
Well, so in a 2 minute commentary on PTSD and dogs. So the ADA, which is the American Disability Association, recognizes 2 animals for PTSD support or other types of service animals. And that's a miniature horse, and of course the primary is a dog. I have a friend, and she handled over 60 casualty assistance calls during her time in the military in about 5 years. She absolutely has PTSD from all of this stuff. And after she retired from the military, she really became a shut-in. She didn't do anything. She didn't go anywhere. Life was very difficult for her. She's a single mother and has a 15-year-old daughter who's, now in high school, going to college. But the service animal canine really changed her life. Because the dog that she has trained for, the canine that was trained for her, helps with anxiety. It triggers anxiety and is able to, nose her in the arm or something like that. So she has to turn and pay attention to the dog when, she has these anxiety triggers. that's just one function of a service animal. There are other service animals that trigger on I don't know. John could probably tell it better, but heart problems like afibrillation or whatever it's called in the heart. Um, there are also these service animals that trigger off from low insulin, right? Insulin problems, low blood sugar, to where the person has to actually have the dog retrieve either the pills or the shot for them, so the person has it close. These service animals are very important. Uh, as John has said, it takes about 2 years to train one service animal, and that dog after the canine is trained, it gets about 4 years worth of work. Um, in $50,000, $45,000, it's a very expensive price tag, but the quality of life that it gives to the human that's receiving it is extremely important. I know we all have charities, and we've all done a lot of good charity work in the past, but we've kind of said that this is for service members, and this organization absolutely supports service members. But I mean, these canines could all be something that we need in the future. Just as normal humans, if we become wobbly and fall down, there are animals, canines, that are trained to get in the way of the human falling down to stop them from having a hard crash on the ground, and then perform a life-saving act, whether that's to retrieve the bottle of medication, retrieve water, get something for the person. It's absolutely amazing what these organizations do. And the real backstory on how I found this was I was going to the Coast Guard Exchange in uh, Centerville, Virginia, and the ladies of auxiliary were there wrapping Christmas presents for everything, for folks. As you came out the door, like a lot of places do. And there was one gentleman there, and he was wearing a Purple Heart jacket. And everybody knows that the Purple Heart is for a wounded veteran who was wounded in combat and so on. This guy was in Vietnam, and he was there, promoting the organization. And I stopped and talked to him for about, I don't know, about 20 minutes, and ended up donating, I don't know, $40 or whatever I had in my wallet at the time. And then I passed that information on to John to decide if this was something he was looking for or whatnot. But I can't say enough good things about service dog organizations. There are a lot of good ones out there. There are a lot of them that don't get support because all of these 501c3 service animal places that are providing these dogs to everyone. There's no government funding for it. There's no money out there. Basically the doctor, these VA doctors, for instance, in this scenario, these VA doctors will write a script saying that the service member needs an animal. From that point, it goes to a qualified organization that provides animals to service members. And there could be 40 or 50 people on these lists, for all of these different organizations. And it's 100% funded by donations, And I just like to see everybody, we have a lot of good charities, and there are a lot of good charities, but, give where you're able to. And, thanks for everything that we're going to do here.
Well, Adam, I appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna merge over to the actual website, and John, this is the website. It's different than Casino Gaming TV. It's Craps for the Cure.
Yep.
You have the three buttons at the top here, and John, you can go ahead and start talking. And I'll kind of like maybe navigate through the website while you're talking about things.
Yeah, it's a work in progress, as you can tell. So the logo is changing out tomorrow. We have the schedule, which I'm filling out as we go. So you'll have 2 days instead of 24 straight hours. It'll be 2 days, 10 to 7, which will keep us alive in front of people that are awake, which is kind of an important thing. So yeah, I've already got a couple of things kind of figured out. We'll do 2 craps chats like this live. We'll do some challenges. We have some other things planned. I got Garrison coming out. I've got Tony Leo's going to come out. We've got Bo Parker's coming out. We've got some other heavy hitters going to be there with us as well. So if you want to come, just go to the tickets tab at the very top, Jeff, and you'll see there's a form that you fill out. It's very simple. It's $50 a day. Which day you coming? Put the money up. That's your donation right there. Very simple. We have a couple of small swag to give for folks to come both days, some custom chips and that kind of thing, but not about that, obviously. The bigger thing is going to be the auctions, and the auctions you'll see there. Again, not all the items are entered in yet. They're coming, but you're going to have things like my felt. I have a Funko Pop John. I got a bobblehead John coming. We've got a year membership to Crapsy. We've got Jacob from Wage Me. This is old, actual Las Vegas style felt. He's going to sign that and put that up. We've got Dice Dr. Dan's got a bunch of stuff that he's donated. We have Brian's Cruise. Heavy Haltom is giving away a full seminar. Garrison has donated a signed set of John Patrick book and plus his book, like a first edition John Patrick book, which is fantastic. So a lot of stuff up there. Lori, who runs Veterans Moving Forward, is going to come. And like that organization, Adam will tell you, it's like Lori and her husband and her daughters. Like it's like a family that runs this whole organization. And they raise these dogs for vets. And it's a process. It's literally, like Adam said, it's 2 years to, buy and train the dog. And then like the vet and the dog are bonded for over a year where they're flying back and forth. They fly the vet into town. They fly to the vet. They work with it's such an involved process. It's unbelievable the way this thing works. I told Adam last week, I'm like, dude, thanks for turning me on to this outfit because I love veterans. I love the military more than almost anything on the planet. Like I have so much respect for these guys, but there's so many garbage outfits out there, that sound good that right. Don't give the money to the vets. Right. And I hate to say it, but the VA is one of them, This group is a family that does a thing that goes right to somebody's house. And I'm like, that just feels like us, doesn't it? So I don't know that we change charities. If this thing works out the way that it does, it's so damn cool. I'm just like I said, it's like I'm like honored, like I'm shaking a little bit here to be a part of it, to know that whatever we do, whatever number we come up with at the end of this thing, it's going towards that, right? And Lori will be on to talk to us about how that works and all that, and where the money's going to go and how it actually gets spent. But it's like literally you're buying kibble and soap and all that stuff for the dog. It's like literally this money's going right to an animal. So super cool stuff. Yeah.
We'll switch back over here, and at the top where you can see where I'm highlighting, if you can, that only 16 days, 15 hours, and 34 minutes. Is that before it closes, or is that when it starts?
No, so I'm going to actually open the auction up probably next Monday. Once I get things entered in, we can do some pre-orders or pre-bids on the raffles ahead of the thing. I think the event is going to be less about the auction. Like the actual live event will be less. The auction, I figure, we're going to cap every item in the auction to whatever the number is, 50 or 100 raffle tickets per item. So you got a 1 in 50 chance of getting the thing. I expect we'll have most of those things filled up before we even get to Vegas, right? The Vegas shows will be about who's going to donate live during the show, either in chat or in the live thing. So I want to have the auction kind of figured out before we get there. And then, so the show will just be about us begging for money and being idiots. We're gonna, John, Joseph, I should put the white dice up for auction, right?
Well, I was just getting ready to say something. I have this whole box of dice sitting over here, Craps Nation dice, John. This one, I bought. I spent a big chunk of money. I give them away on my show, a couple times a week. Mm-hmm. I want to let you know that there's a pair of white, there's a pair of blue, and a pair of red dice. That's a $90 value at retail value on those. So they cost me $30 a pair. They're official Craps Nation casino grade dice. I'm going to give you one of those. I want you to put 3 of them together as a $90 value, and we'll see what we can get at auction. So doesn't even count the shipping that I had to pay to get them here. But there's a red, white, and a blue set of dice that I am going to bring with me when we come out there. You can put them out there. Matter of fact, maybe I'll get a shot of them so you can somehow add them to the donation, and they can go there. I have people ask me every show, can I buy a pair of dice? No, you can't. So I just said,
you gotta buy a stick. You got to buy a stick.
Right, exactly. So now you're going to give away all 3 colors that I have. There's more colors than that are out there, but I think that'll work.
That's perfect.
All right, guys.
Ramus is asking me to donate. Ramus wants me to put up my actual shitty white dice, the actual 2 white dice that I throw the 7s with and kill everybody's bankroll. Those exact 2 dice I will bring. I have the exact ones that everybody's like, no, stop. I'm putting those up.
Well, I don't know if you can see this or not, John. Can you read the numbers on that? Yeah, that's a dice that Greg from Fives. He wanted them. These are Craps Nation dice too. These are the ones I play on my table. They're Craps Nation, and they're 0007. So how I got that, I don't know, but in any event,
I also got. I've also got. Remember last year, David from Casino Quest put up those cards, like the unopened box of cards that were from the Stratosphere. Mm-hmm. They were never opened. They're not punched. They're like legit Stratosphere stacked cards. Chiro bought those. Chiro won the auction for those cards last year. Crystal gave them back and said, look, he won them. She's going to donate them back. So that set of cards that Chiro won last year's auction is going back up for auction again this year. So there's a piece of Chiro history there too that we have, which is interesting. So a lot of good stuff going up. It's going to be a great event. I can't wait. I don't think it's going to be like last year. We were able to get a lot of people to join us live on the video feeds. This year we're not doing that. So the only thing that's going to be done at the Craps for the Cure will be done in person. So if you want to be on it, got to be there. That's why it's going to be like a lot of us and a lot less celebrities because we can't get them all to fly to Vegas that weekend. But I am going to interview some people ahead of time. So there will be some pre-recorded video with like El Toro and a few others that we'll do ahead of the thing so we can break away from the live stuff, play a 10, 15-minute interview, and then come back to playing live. It'll give us a chance to get a potty break and that kind of thing. So,
all right. Well, John,
it's coming together, but it's a ton of work. And that's why, like, I'm going to apologize in advance. My shows next few weeks they're going to be good, but my mind is obviously in 2 places here. So I'm not going to be doing as much research ahead of time. I'm just going to be winging it for the most part, but it is what it is.
Well, John, I don't like to brag about my channel, but I just got a text from somebody, and you know who it's from, and it's actually kind of I don't know. I'm a big teddy bear. I've been trying for a $5,000 donation this year. I don't want to brag, but I just got a text from somebody. And you and I talked earlier this week that did you know something that I didn't know? And I just got somebody that said that they're going to get me to that 5,000. And I stopped to raise money for Churro. We would be at 5,000. I'm at 36 and some change. And I just got a text message, and it's from the person that we've talked about before. He and his wife. To you, you're in the chat here today. You don't want to be recognized. Thank you very much. I just really appreciate that.
I mean,
so there's a tenth of it, and hopefully. We're going to be much more than 50K. I just hope so. I just
remember the first year that Jerry Lewis broke $1 million. Remember that when he ran around in his underwear?
Yeah.
Like that was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. I was like 12 when he did that. Like that's how this is going to be this year. I'm not running around in my underwear, but I may shed a tear. I mean, if you think about like how amazing it's going to be if we hit the 50K and do a dog. Can you imagine?
Right.
I just can't imagine. And the fact that somebody wrote you and is going to bring you to 5,000 already. Like,
no, they're bringing me up to 5,000. So I'm trying.
I mean, bring the total of 5K. We're going to roll in there and have that coming in. What a great running start we've got. I mean,
I only have about 9 more shows I'm doing live, and I'm really not even specifically pushing that outside of the amount that I make because I don't like to beg for it. But, to be at 36, and then this gentleman just said that we're going to get you to 5. Remember, Jen had said something to me, and then I texted you. I said, John, do you know something that I don't know? Because I don't think I'm going to make it. I don't think I'm going to get to the 5. But, God bless everybody. Anybody that served, thank you for your service. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap the show up. I will call for an after-show show. If you guys want to stay, you can come and hit the Zoom link. I'll let you in when the show is over with. I probably will not be here for much of it, But I know Nemo's in the chat here, in the Zoom call, but I don't know that I'm going to I'm not going to stick around for the after show. I'll come in and go out. I've got to take care of some things. John, thank you for stepping in for Dylan. We didn't even hardly mention what happened to Dylan. Dylan got a job. He's transferred down to Florida temporarily, and he's back to driving. He's back to doing what he does best, and shipping the stuff across country or whatever they do. And we're glad to know that he's working again. And Dylan, if you're watching, or Joy, if you're listening, because she rides with him a lot, we're thinking of you, and we're glad it's a long journey for you to get back on the road. And hopefully you'll be back for the next Craps Chat, which I did want to get one more of those in before Craps for the Cure comes up. And I cannot do it on the 8th because I had to switch things around. So I'm sorry, the 8th. I cannot do it on the 5th of November. So we're going to come back on the 29th. It's Halloween weekend. We'll see what takes place. We'll do one more Craps Chat, 3 in a month. That's the first time we've done that. We've skipped some. We'll be back on the 29th for another Craps Chat, and hopefully we'll have an update and some more good news there. So to everybody that's here tonight, thank you. Anybody have any closing comments? Stick around for the after show. You can if you want. Anybody have anything they'd like to say?
Thanks to the viewers.
All right. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, stick around, guys. If you want to get in the after show, it's in the chat. That's the Zoom link. We'll go offline. Give me a few minutes. I'll let as many people as I can in. If we do an after show, we do an after show. We talk about all kinds of things from craps to sports to, what your favorite food is. But there's a whole lot of stuff goes on. And I will warn you, it is the triple R-rated version of it because the F word does fly during the after show. All right, guys, till the 29th, till the 29th at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Everybody be safe, play smart, and we'll see you on the next one.